Sunday. Another sort of yin-yang day where we get good news and we get bad news. For instance, today it started with news that Moderna and their new vaccine, which is in, again, these final trials, 95% efficacy. 95%. The man himself, Anthony Fauci, Dr. Fauci said it is as good as it gets. So we now have, as we mentioned before, Pfizer and their 90% efficacy last week. This one's even better from Moderna. We got a Johnson & Johnson trial going on in Memphis. They're looking for 65,000 people. You can go to the St. Jude website if you want to be a part of that trial. That looks up. But yet, the cases coming in are staggering. We'll get into those numbers a little bit later. The news this morning, the NCAA is going to probably do everything in Indy, one city. So the good news is the NCAA tournament is on. Bad news? That means no regional final in Memphis. And that breaks a lot of people's hearts from the Tourism and Sports Council. Kevin Kane will join us a little bit later in the program, about 3:45, to see how much that will affect downtown and the economy and everything of that nature. Also today, Ole Miss and Texas A&M postponed, and I know that has to break my friend Brett Norsworthy's heart because the Rebels looked so good the other day, and I said this to you earlier, but I'm going to repeat it. It's got to be fun to be covering Lane Kiffin, just the way he threw his playbook into the stands, the way he even when they're great, he does not brag about it. He basically looks at the faults and says, we got to get better in this regard, but we're pretty good on offense. I mean, that was a heck of a showing by Matt Corral.
It has been fun. Good afternoon, Dave. It has been fun, and I think more fun's on the way. And you're right. It does disappoint me that we're not going to College Station, my favorite stadium in the SEC, one of my favorite groups of opponent fans in the SEC, maybe the nicest opponent fans in the SEC, and of course with Ross Bjork and Michael Thompson and other people that with Ross at Ole Miss, now at Texas A&M, a lot of friends there, looking forward to it. But it's not going to happen this weekend. And Dave, it doesn't sound very likely that it will happen at all. In fact, Coach Lane Kiffin today said that he doesn't think that it will be made up. It is now being listed as postponed. But I think you can probably cancel it. It won't happen.
I hear you. I think that's the same thing that'll happen with Memphis and Navy. They're going to try. I can understand. I don't see how that game gets played either. So I'm with you there. This is for another day, but let's mark it down. I think of the SEC stadiums that I've been in, I think I really like the one in Knoxville. I think Neyland is really cool. I haven't been to Texas A&M since they redid it, so I can't.
There's five better than Neyland.
I can't. There's five better than Neyland. Well, that'll be a good show or a good little topic because I'd like to hear how you would rate them.
Well, you hadn't been to LSU, you hadn't been to Georgia, and you hadn't been to Alabama. That's three is better.
Yeah.
And New Texas A&M is much better.
Wow. Interesting.
Arkansas.
I've been outside, by the way. LSU. I've been outside Tuscaloosa, but I've never been in the stadiums to really know.
I'm not so sure that Florida's not better than Neyland.
I've been in there. I've been in the swamp.
South Carolina is very nice.
Yeah.
Now they're not as big.
No,
certainly, but. Arkansas not nearly as big, but I think it is at least as nice. Neyland's very nice though, but I think they're better. But we'll miss that this weekend. It was fun Saturday night. Now Lane Kiffin's it's being called a clipboard. You said playbook. It was merely the Waffle House menu play sheet. That's all that was hummed into the stands. I mean, let's don't make this into Al Order throwing a discus.
No, it was fun. Anyway, I thought in the end
It was fun.
It's a fun thing. So
Yeah.
And I think that's what he did it for. He was so happy
And
because
had to send a GA to retrieve it.
I know, I know it. And you should see the guy's face, his expression. I don't know if you've seen it because you were doing the game.
Yeah,
but his expression when he's walking down the stairs was pretty priceless. Yeah. And let's face it. I mean, that was a lot of joy because he didn't have to go on fourth down. I mean, he's going for it on fourth down. He gets a touchdown out of it. I mean, my goodness. He saw something, and it worked, and he was joyous.
No, the play that he hummed, that was not on fourth down. That was on the 91-yarder by Elijah Moore. But he did go for a lot of fourth downs.
I thought he threw it on fourth down because that's what I saw that part of it. They must have replayed the of the thing going in the stands because I didn't see the long run live. I saw the touchdown at the end live. So that's very interesting.
But you sure know this about Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's got an offense. Now he's got to go out and recruit and defensive players. If you want to transfer, if you want to play first snap next year, if you're a high school senior, if you're in junior college, head to Oxford. You can start next fall.
Other news today, this is the weirdest thing. It came out. We now know Memphis is going to play the University of Tennessee, that third game, the rubber match with the Volunteers next year, Bridgestone Arena, week before Christmas, December the 18th. We know that. Isn't it amazing we know that game and we still don't know the Tigers' 2020 21 regular season?
We don't know 2 weeks. We know next year better than we know 2 weeks. And Dave, it's everybody. And I understand it. In college sports, just trying to buy a little time. Who right now 2 weeks is a lifetime for them, and trying to make decisions on any and all things. I applaud him, and I do. But the universal, just total, unmitigated, 100% praise on Greg Sankey, I want to back up from that a little bit. It's not a criticism, but now it's showing in the calendar. The SEC should have been playing Saturday, September 19th, if not the 12th. We need it earlier, not later.
Yeah, no, I still don't understand why these have to be finite dates for sure. I did find it right and interesting, and I wish the American would do the same thing, that if you're not involved in the championship game and you can make up a game, play it on the same day. I guess you got to find television spots for that. I'm not sure what the holdup is, but that seems to me to make a lot of sense. And I know Greg Sankey has talked about doing that in the SEC. I have not heard Mike Oresco's take on all of that, but I have not seen where they would do that. We mentioned what a busy day.
But Dave, I'm with you. I'm with you, crushed about the news about locally, and I look forward to visiting with Kevin Kane as we always do. Crushed about that come March, because it'll be a while because they have to fulfill the commitments for I think it's at least 3 years out for 22, 23, and 24 before we'll wheel back around again in the system. But we will, and we're already booked for first and second round in the future.
Yeah, I thought it was
very.
Is it not the year after this one? I think it is. I think it's next year.
No, it's not going to. They weren't going to come here 2 years in a row. They weren't coming here in 21 and in 22.
Well, I know Kevin Kane knows that date, so we will figure that all out for sure. But by the way, I hope that Memphis does go to Sioux Falls, South Dakota for Penny Hardaway, because I know he really wants to go and he really wants to get some games under his belt, and I know his team really wants to go. But have you seen what the positivity rate on tests in South Dakota is at this very moment? It is 60.
No, but you told me earlier today.
63%. That is so dicey. And I know they're bubbling this, and I know Memphis's intention is their party traveling party will be all of 30 people. So they are taking it very seriously, but you still are going to stay in a hotel that is not connected to the Pentagon, the stadium. You are going to stay in a hotel where people aren't bubbled. You're going to be going to the stadium where people who work in the stadium aren't bubbled. You're going to be playing against other people. You don't know you know where they came from, but I guess you're hoping that they've been bubbled like you've been bubbled. It is a dicey affair, and that's what we are entering.
It is.
When you're talking about 63% positivity.
and we hope, and with the great news from Moderna and from Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer last week, we hope that it's a final leg of this. We hope that, but it may not be. It could be. It could be the long winter, the dark period that some have been alerted to, and some have alerted about, and could be very, very dicey, to use your word, for sure. But Dave, if they pull it off in Indianapolis, that will have the old-time NAIA, Kansas City, NIT, and New York City feel to it.
Yes, it will.
Not ideal.
That's a great
Not
comparison.
ideal. Yeah, none of this is ideal. If any of us could wave a wand and change all this, we would. But a lot of people are making a lot of tough decisions, and some of them I don't agree with. A lot of them I don't like, but I got to live with it.
Big news today in the NBA. Oklahoma City has sent Chris Paul to Phoenix for the entire Phoenix. No, 4 players and draft picks. I'm telling you, this they have really valued Chris Paul quite a bit, and maybe this is what will allow the Suns to return to some form of greatness. I'm not sure, but we shall see. The drafts could be going crazy, flying fast and furious here over the next few days. Also, the draft's 2 days away. We're going to talk with Brian Geltzheiler. We'll do that at about 5 o'clock on the NBA. I haven't mentioned yet, but what a performance by Dustin Johnson. He showed he is the number 1 player in the world. First thing comes to my mind is it's his second major. He's got a U.S. Open and a Masters now. He should have at least 2, maybe 3 others, right? The one where he missed in Chambers Bay, and I hate to say it, but that was on him. The one that got taken away at Whistling Straits when he grounded his club in a waste bunker when he didn't know it, and that to me was just a ridiculous thing that occurred. But that one, there's 2, so that should be 4. And there's another one in there I think he had real promise and just didn't get it done.
Yeah. He's one of a couple now on tour that it feels like they could win every single time they line up.
Yeah. But he's got 25 victories now. So he 2 majors and 25 victories and number 1 a couple of times. He is obviously outstanding. And there's something about that green jacket that makes people want to cry, from Bubba Watson to I honestly, did you see that coming where DJ would shed tears?
Mr. Stoic.
Yeah, I sure.
Mr. Stoic, Mr. Anti-Bryson DeChambeau, who has a comment or a thought on everything. Dustin Johnson has always played it real close to the vest, really never revealing very much, and it is something about joining that club. And like we talked about last week, just very rarely is that Masters winner, is that the only thing they really ever do in their career. They either get another one there or another major somewhere else.
So we'll talk a couple of times about Dustin Johnson and a special Masters where a guy for the first time had rounds in the 60s every day and didn't win anything. Wow. I mean, that is hard to believe.
Go home and tell your buddies that.
Yeah.
I was 15 under, never had a round out of the 60s, and all I got was some nice pimento cheese sandwiches and an invite back next year.
Yeah, well, he does get to go back in 143 days or whatever the heck it is. Ted Butler will talk about it at 3:30. John Goen will talk about it at 4:30. In between, we've got David Cobb. Oh, and it's Monday Night Football. Ladies and gentlemen, we will make our Monday Night Football pick, and we will give you the Mount Rushmore for the Bears. It'll be running backs. I'm going to tell you something. The Bears don't have many quarterbacks. They got so many good running backs. I mean, really, really good running backs. It's amazing. And then we've got the Minnesota quarterbacks, and tonight should be a fun game.
It will be a fun game. And if you're watching it tonight and you're watching that game, you see another ad for FanDuel Sportsbook, and you think to yourself, is that legal here in Tennessee? You bet it is. Almost $30 million bet last week in the state of Tennessee. FanDuel Sportsbook now legal. You can place your first bet on FanDuel Sportsbook risk-free and get up to $1,000 back if you don't win. Seriously, there's no strings attached. Just place any bet you want. If you win, you keep the cash. If you lose, you'll get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in bonus site credit, so you can take another shot at the end zone on the house. What side do you want tonight, Vikings or Bears, for that risk-free bet? And with FanDuel Sportsbook, generous risk-free bets are just the beginning. They've got a simple app, live betting on every game, and exhilarating bet types such as same-game parlays, where you combine multiple bets from one game into a single parlay. And once you win on FanDuel Sportsbook, they get you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Odds boosts and specials, fast withdrawals. When you win, you get your money fast. Easy to register, easy deposit, easy to find your bet. To claim your risk-free bet, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and be sure to sign up with promo code CASH so they know that we sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable. Expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. Happy holidays from all the people at Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis, to all of you. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity, November, December, to remember sales event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. If you ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus as well. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that is the cancellation of Texas A&M and Ole Miss, and that is already the fifth postponement for this coming weekend. Memphis and Stephen F. Austin still on 11 o'clock at the Liberty Bowl, but now we have 5 this weekend and 70 total that have been postponed. And the other big news is the NCAA bubble, and I really did appreciate your sentiments like Kansas City and the old NAIA. Although they did that in pretty much 2 gyms, they will be doing this. I don't know how many gyms they're going to use. They could use 5 or 6 that are viable.
Dave, I didn't know that. I didn't know KC used 2 gyms. I thought everything was at Kemper. I didn't know that.
They have this little old tiny one that's connected.
Yeah,
to,
where the original Final Four was played.
Yeah,
the first Final Four.
Yeah. A friend of ours, Keith Patterson, by the way, who referees. He's reffed that tournament. I still think he does it because he loves it so much. He's reffed it for years and years and years. Your top.
My top story, first green jacket, second major, Hall of Fame status now secure for Dustin Johnson. Only has to play golf and win for the next 4 to 6 year window that he's going to play it in. No pressure at all on him. That's all there for him. He really lapped the field over the weekend. It was over from about 4 o'clock Friday on. The last 3 winners in Memphis. If you don't think we have an elite event at TPC Southwind, how about these last 3 winners in Memphis? This year, Justin Thomas. Last year, Brooks Koepka. And the last time it was FESJC, Dustin Johnson. Those 3 guys, how many majors over the next 5 years will they gobble up?
We'll throw in the runner-up with Brooks that year because that's Rory.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, it is amazing. So, Dustin Johnson is 36 years of age. I'm not sure. This is a question for both Ted and John that we'll have on later. What is a golfer's prime now?
Well, that used to be around it,
yeah.
But I think it has moved up a little.
I do too.
I think it's
when you got a guy like him who's 22 years old, and I have no idea how old is the Australian Smith that was
I'm
off
not
4
sure.
rounds in the 60s. I mean, he
looked young.
He did. I think you're right. I
They
think
all
it's
look
under
young.
30 now. So we'll find that out. But my goodness, you're right. The prestige of WGC Memphis just keeps going up and up and up.
Not top story of the day.
Those are the numbers. Shelby County today, 686 new cases. 686, one death, 6,400 tests, 10.7% positivity. The one good area that I can tell you about today is that hospital capacity actually went down. There's 88%. And remember, when I say 88%, the majority of the hospital's acute or ICU are not COVID patients, but there's plenty of space, so that is a good thing. In Tennessee, we have 311,000 cases, 3,900 who have perished, 135,000 in Mississippi, 3,500, and in Arkansas, 133,000, and they've reached 2,200 fatalities. 66,000 new cases at about noon today, so there's a good opportunity that we'll again go over 100,000 new cases in the U.S. We're at 11.5 million cases. We actually have 2 new vaccines in the works. There's 181, but let's face it, folks, we're down to 3. You heard the news on Pfizer last week, and I mentioned earlier this new Moderna vaccine, 95% efficacy, and in the words of Dr. Tony Fauci, as good as it gets. That kind of reminds me of, you were talking about what we are expecting, and we are getting this wave that Fauci and Birx, they said this would happen. They said in November and December we would really be hit hard again with a second wave. But the old line, the darkest hour is just before dawn, maybe that's where we're at with the news of these vaccines.
So.
55.
Maybe so, David.
0.2 million around the world. I hope so. 350,000 new ones as of noon today, and over 1.3 million who have passed away. Those are the numbers and the not top story.
My not top story, a pause in the college football season. Everything has to be being considered, but a pause in the college football season has to be being right now. I think the season should have started a lot earlier than it did. Maybe even that last weekend in August, for sure. The weekend that the Tigers started, everybody else should have been going on September 5. And now I think the very real prospect of college basketball, at least some leagues could go conference only like they did in football. I think that's out there. And college basketball had 8 months to get ready for this, and I hope the decisions that are being made are understood by one and all. They have to get that tournament in somehow, some way. It's got to be on TV. It's got to get the rights fees from that. It cannot take 2 years without it.
I agree, and I think we could be moving in the direction where it'll be conference games only. I think that's coming. And if we go back to the other statement you made about how it should have started early, I think it was the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt stuck with the last week of August or the first week of September, right? I mean, they didn't back up anything. They were the first ones to see we'll have the most flexibility of anyone. So they should probably get
Arkansas and South Carolina now, the only 2 teams in SEC to play the revised schedule exactly how was supposed to be played up to now.
So 1/7 of the league is the only ones that have been able to move and play without being interrupted. That really is something. And those are your top and your not top stories. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. And a reminder, holidays at home sale going on at Family Leisure right now. More spas. They got so many spas in stock, and they've got hundreds on order. And we're trying to stay home for the holidays. We have to stay home for the holidays. That vaccine's coming, but we have to. How about a pool table for the group that's with you? Or game tables or arcades. And then after that big meal, sit down in a massage chair. They all got special prices with the holidays at home sale. And you can buy pools now. You will save on the 2021 price increase. You get the 2020 price, and you get early priority on scheduling for installation. Happy holidays from Family Leisure. It's time to stay home. They're going to help you all come together for the holidays. We are back in a minute. We will chat with Ted Butler on a very cool and probably totally unique in my lifetime Autumn Masters. What are his thoughts? He'll tell us in a minute. We are officially underway on this Monday.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football. From Soldier Field in Chicago, the Bears host the Minnesota Vikings. An exciting matchup of the league's leading rusher, Dalvin Cook, against one of the league's best defenses. The Vikings have won their last 2 games, and their quarterback, Kirk Cousins, says they want more.
Coming out of the bye at 1-5, my thought process was we have 10 football games left, and those 10 are going to tell the story probably far more than the 1-5 start. I'd say the same about with 8 left. The second half is going to tell the story far more than the first half. So we need to have the best second half we possibly can, and that starts with a tough opponent in Chicago on the road on Monday night.
Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner on Monday Night Football from Westwood One.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
For the ones standing guard, for the eagle-eyed, for the knights in shining armor, and for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. We've got what you need. Regular changes are the best way to keep your engine running smooth. We'll help you find the right oil for your make and model and everything to help you finish the job right, like drain pans, filters, and funnels. And we've got more ways to get it all fast, like our next day delivery and our free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hey everybody, it's the best time of the year to come out here to Olive Branch and get that new All-Star Chevy Silverado or Tahoe or one of these perfect new Suburbans. This is the deal. We asked All-Star Chevy to get what everybody wants for the holidays, and guess what? They went out and got them, and the deals are spot on. Seriously, these will go fast, so come out this week if you can. All-Star Chevy has more new Silverados 2020 and 2021. Lots of the new third-row seating Traverses. And you could still get thousands in cash back. If you want pre-owned, Olive Branch is the place to be. Look, All-Star Chevy's certified pre-owned Chevrolets, they have the best selection I've seen anywhere. And remember, it's not Mount Moriah or South Haven, not Collierville or The Pike. It's gotta be Olive Branch, people. And everyone at All-Star Chevy has one job, just one job, to make sure you have more fun, you get the best deal on what you want, and in record time. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch or online at allstarautogroup.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stacks. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Voloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Just got word. Brady White was selected as the Senior Class Award candidate. This is for 30, I guess they pick from 30 guys who are a part of this. And it is for those who stay in school and use their athletic platform for leadership. So another cool thing for Brady White. I saw this other story. I can't remember where, if it was Channel 5 or where I saw it, but that there was a young man who has some form of cancer and plays football. I think it's for Covington High School. And he tells in the story, they're talking about how tough this has been. He came out for a final play, wore his helmet and pads and everything, and he came out there and like they took a victory knee or something. It was a really nice story. And he was talking about how when he was in the hospital, Brady White came to see him. He came around 7 o'clock in the evening and stayed till midnight. I mean, what a good guy, huh?
That's a really nice story. And Dave, on the field, there are very few quarterbacks out there with more touchdown passes than he. And I want you to ask him, you'll probably have him on Star of the Game this week. Ask him exactly how many college credit hours does he have?
Oh, God. I don't know if we can count that high.
It may be 200 plus.
Oh, my goodness. Well, and now he's got $18,000 to go back to school if he wants to. Through the Campbell Award, and it could be 25 if he wins the darn thing. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Before we run out of time or lose track of time here, I am looking forward to this. Ted Butler joins us now. Dustin Johnson showed why he's the number one player in the world. That was after a shaky start. That was a pretty darn amazing display of becoming dominant and just taking over, Ted.
Absolutely. He clearly now was number one player in the world. Probably was anyway, but he just owned the golf course. He owned himself. Every part of his game was clicking. His tee shots reminded me of Lee Trevino, only 75 yards longer.
Yeah.
You know, every little cut shot even on dogleg right, he was hitting them down the left side and cutting it back in the fairway and hitting every fairway and iron shots, his up and down game. He was just way better than everybody else.
And for Dustin Johnson heading into 2021, he'll be in a 2 or 3, 4-man club that they'll be predicted to win every major next year.
Oh, absolutely. You know, probably for him it'll just depend on how much desire he's got. You know, how deep does he want to go? You know, what is his passion for golf going to be? Is he going to kind of lackadaisical or just really get after it a little bit? Because he was something else. I'll tell you, it was the Masters itself was. Have you ever seen so many shots back up in the fairway and so many mud balls and ball marks on greens going backwards? You know, wow. Slightly different.
It won't be that way in April. I can tell you that.
Well, it's never been that way before either.
Right. And it'll never be that way again. And I marveled at the use of the drones and the views that we got. I hope they continue to do that because it made that broadcast so special. When we look now, and I want you sort of to put your thinking cap on here, Ted. I think we are sort of in a golden age for golf. I really do. You've got the end of the Tiger Woods era, and I'll get into him in a minute because what he did was pretty amazing too on a lot of different fronts. But when you think about, you've got a Brooks Koepka, you've got a Dustin Johnson, you've got a Jon Rahm, you've got a Justin Thomas. I don't know what's happened to Jordan Spieth. You've got a Rory McIlroy. You're talking about guys who are really, really good. You know, it's hard to say Dustin Johnson's just going to take off and dominate because I don't think Jon Rahm or Brooks Koepka, when he's healthy, are going to let him do it. I think, and Rory McIlroy, maybe he's figured out, and he was talking about being nervous so much because he really wants that career Grand Slam. Maybe he gets over that and finds something here, or maybe he did the last 3 rounds. I think there are so many good golfers. I can't imagine anybody in this day and age possibly winning a Grand Slam.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be so hard for anybody to really dominate too, because you don't have your best game every week. And even if you're playing pretty good, what if somebody else is having their best day, like Koepka or Rory or Thomas? You know, they go into their peak day, and you play great, but they play better. I don't see a way to totally dominate, although he was pretty good yesterday. But you're right. There's a whole bunch of good players. You know, Cantlay, Matsuyama, the young guys, Matthew Wolff coming up, and Morikawa. There's so many really, really good players at one time. And more coming.
Is this the best era we've ever had?
Oh, I'd have to really think about that. I can't remember more superstars at the same time playing as well as they are. And as far as their peak years, it's a little hard to tell. Somewhere it has to be with your peak health, your peak game, and your peak wisdom. And it's hard to get all three things at the same time. And that's why, 30 or so seemed to be the age a while ago. But Nicklaus peaked when he showed up. Tiger peaked when he showed up. So, it's hard to say where it is.
Ted, I know, especially with the tournament in its normal time in April, it's hard to. But would Augusta National have to do the unthinkable and have more than just a second cut, but have real rough?
Well, they might. I don't know. It kind of show where somebody like Abraham Anser, he shoot 10 under, 11 under, a really short hitter, and he beats DeChambeau by a mile. So it's got to be a combination still of your whole game, the distance, your up and down game. DJ saved a bunch of pars from places he didn't used to, made 10, 12-foot putts like he didn't used to. And some of the other guys were missing. Justin Thomas on Friday could have shot 60 if he'd have putted. And he just left so many strokes out there. But he didn't. That's the great part of the game.
Well, I think it's really tough to say, he breaks this record 20 under, beating Tiger's and Jordan Spieth's record. But he does it in November when those greens were much softer and they roll different. I do think they're going to have to back up 13 even more. And, Brett, you said they've already purchased the land from Augusta Country Club to do that. And they're probably going to have to, I don't know how you grow trees taller, but you got to figure out something to stop DeChambeau from going over those trees onto 15. But, look, it didn't work out so well for him. Heck, 63-year-old Bernard Langer outplayed him. So, but here you've alluded to you've alluded to this already, but I wanted to ask you this question. So here's Dustin Johnson, apparently on top of the world, and we just saw this, performance for the ages. He's 36. What is a golfer's prime in this day and age? We just mentioned all these young guys, and McIlroy's in his late 20s, Koepka's in his late 20s. What do you think?
Justin?
Justin Thomas is in his mid-20s, right? Jordan Spieth's in his mid to late 20s. And DeChambeau's 23? What is a golfer's prime?
Whenever it all comes together, the physical, the mental, the golf swing, the courage, whatever that is. For some guys it's younger, and some guys like DJ, it's later. The late 20s right now looks like a good place to be. But then you got, like I said before, Hovland and Matthew Wolff, these guys that are early 20s. Of course, they're not in their prime yet, but who knows how far down the road that is? It could be 2 years, 3 years, but you've got to have more experience. And that's what takes the time. But they're all
Ted,
they're all great.
We hope, good Lord willing, and everybody's okay. We hope you join us on Monday, April 5th, 2021 for Masters Week. Tiger Woods will be 45 years old then. What will be his future prospects at Augusta National?
Well, remember the old white flag? I don't know. Of course, the course gets difficult again, and it takes the real pure shot making where you can't just blow it over everywhere and back up 3 irons. The tougher the conditions, I think, for Tiger, the better. But it's going to be a hard road now. It looked like he faded in the third round to me, even late in the second round. It was almost playing conservative to get in contention, when once he was out of contention and he birdies 5 of the last 6 holes the way he used to play golf. When he first won the Masters, he shot 40 on the front 9 and won by 12. So when he's freewheeling and hitting the shots he's capable of hitting, he'd still be, a force to reckon with. But it just looks just too conservative, and and bad shots, and just it wouldn't have mattered. You know, he wasn't going to shoot 20 under.
The thing that I'll remember about this with him was he had that 10. He got unlucky. The first shot he hit was a bad one. He said he'd misjudged the wind. Second shot was actually a good shot. It rolled off. Then he unfortunately hit a bad shot into that bunker. Had no chance in that bunker. I'm glad he didn't hurt his back. Takes a 10. Now, most normal human beings, when they get a 10, their mind goes crazy. They can't concentrate. It's over. It's going to be like the way Answer had everything go wrong for him.
They leave.
Or they leave. Yeah, some would have just gotten a headache or something. This dude goes out and birdies 5 of the next 6 holes, the last 4 holes. Come on. You can't do that. That's how great he is. That is how he got mad, and instead of losing concentration, he magnified his concentration. That to me, I'll never forget that.
I agree. It was, and the shot that he hit, you know, those last few holes, every one of them was on the button. And it was just long drives, pure iron shots, making the 12-footers. It was a spectacular run of golf.
It was. And DJ's was a spectacular 4 rounds of golf. So was Cameron Smith, the first guy ever to be in the 60s, all 4 rounds. And that kid M is good, too.
Do we think that DeChambeau on 3 was the worst break ever?
It was a tough break because they found that ball, 2 minutes after they assessed the penalty?
Yeah, well, and no marshals down there. You see it on TV. We saw it land. Yeah. You know, it was 25 yards from the green. He'd lose it next 7.
Yeah, well, if there were people, I think they would have found it. That was a tough break for him. You know what? He'll be back. I'm not going to feel sorry for him. Ted, I'm going to miss you again, but we'll get you back in just, what is it, 140-some-odd days before we're back there?
Can't wait.
Me neither.
Looking forward to it, David.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it.
All right. See you guys.
That is Ted Butler. If you want to learn how to play the game of golf, go see him at Summer Golfing Games.
If you want to get ready for the first round of holidays, we know where you should start. And, Dave, I know you started there today. And it's at the commissary, either the Collierville commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar or the original in Germantown, the Bird, the Holiday Bird, first round of it. We make all these picks on this show, and here is a lock. You get it for this round of holidays. You will get it for the next round of holidays. The Bird from the Germantown or Collierville commissary. And while you're there, you can get that Memphis-style great barbecue, the ribs, all of it. Memphis-style great food. That means slow. Begin that barbecue feast with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos where they originated at the Germantown commissary. The smoked chicken wings, they're fantastic, but you need to get on that list now for the Bird for this round of holidays. 901-754-5540. 754-5540 online at commissarybarbecue.com in Collierville and in Germantown tonight. If you want to watch Monday Night Football, you can outside at Houston Levy and Poplar at the Collierville Commissary, and you can get everything to go. Everything's safe, and when I say everything, it's just like going in the restaurant. You can get the ribs or the shoulder, get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich, a big sandwich. You can get it on the plate. Comes with beans, slaw, deviled eggs, and bread as well. You can even order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack. Or a 12-pack and save room for dessert with the terrific banana pudding and the best lemon icebox pie I've had anywhere. That's all at the commissary, either place, the new Collierville commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar or the original in Germantown. And for that Bird for the holidays, 754-5540 or online at commissarybarbecue.com.
Well, I have listened to George Lapidus and I have listened to Brett Norsworthy rave on and on about this Bird, so I did it myself. So if it's a lock how good this is, it'll be a shock if I don't
it's a
get
mortal
it
lock
again. I know I will.
You will. You will for the holiday round in December.
We got medals coming your way. Speaking of shocks and locks and those kinds of things, wow, somebody had proclaimed victory a little prematurely. Interesting. We'll get into that in just a second.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
When you are in need of quality jeans, shirts, and boots, think Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Frontier has thousands of square feet of merchandise at everyday low prices. Tons of jeans by Carhartt, Wrangler, and Ariat. Whether you're after classic denim jeans, dungarees, or work pants, you'll find it among Frontier's amazing selection of stylish modern fits. Flame-retardant jeans and shirts now available as well. Colder weather is on the way and Frontier is prepared with overalls, coats, and fleece jackets. Hundreds of jackets and coats in stock by Ariat. Inventory may be scarce this year, so come in today to grab yours while it's in stock. Don't forget the boots. Frontier boasts dozens and dozens of styles of boots. Work, dress, or play, come try on all the latest boot trends, as well as proven classics, Ariat, Durango, Dan Post, and many, many more. You are guaranteed to find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have too much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. Again, that's geico.com.
When you visit Navy Liquor at 7866 Highway 51 in Millington, you'll be treated like family by friendly, knowledgeable staff. Select are your favorite bourbon, vodka, scotch, beer, tequila, gin, and rum, as well as wines from all over the world. An amazing selection of sakis, too. Coldest beer in town. Beer kegs are available. Any beer, any wine, any liquor. You got the Navy Liquor hookup. Come see us, holiday or any other occasion. Navy Liquor, corner of Highway 51 and Navy Road in Millington.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. I jumped the gun a little bit here. We're going to do medals, probably about 4:15, 4:17, somewhere in there, because today was good news in some respect that the NCAA tournament is going to happen. Bad news is that Memphis was all set and poised and ready to host the regional final, and I don't know how much that means to the city of Memphis, but I know somebody that does. The head of the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau, Memphis Tourism Sports Council, Mr. Memphis, that would be our own good friend Kevin Kane. And I know this was distressing for you today. This has been a tough year on a lot of fronts for a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And here's another one, Kevin. This was tough news for the city's economy today. What kind of dollars are we talking about here?
Well, the stock market is setting records, and tourism and hospitality is going down the drain. It's just unbelievable, how this COVID pandemic is having such unbelievable effects in different directions. This is a big blow for Memphis today. We thought we had dodged a bullet that we were not hosting it in 2020 when they canceled the tournament, and we were going to be safe in 2021, but unfortunately we got the distressing news today that the 13 sites will be consolidated to one next March, and the state of Indiana and Indianapolis will be in the bubble.
And it'll be a while before it swings back around because we are scheduled for first.
We got the first round in 2024. I don't think they're going to push any dates back.
They're not.
They told us that 11 of the 13 sites are already awarded dates within 2 or 3 years of next year. So I don't think they're going to push anything back unless you've heard something I haven't heard. We were told that we're still on for 2024 first round. Or second round, whatever they call it now when you get 8 teams
It's first and second rounds. That's what you get.
Yeah.
You actually get more people in for that.
We get more people, a little prestige, a little less prestige.
Yeah.
It's wonderful when you're one of those 4 sites that are left, and we've been in that envious position to the chagrin of cities like Nashville and Birmingham and others that have not been able to ever host that. But unfortunately, we're going to have not unfortunately. Listen, I'll take any NCAA. I'll take any NCAA event whenever we can get it. First, second, I don't care what round it is. But we're thrilled that they love Memphis. They have great experiences here. The last two regional champions that came out of Memphis were ultimately national champions, as y'all know. So we got a great relationship with NCAA, and the schools that have all been here really enjoy the Memphis package.
There's no doubt in my mind you're going to get that in 24, and then when the rotation comes around, you're going to get it again because the city and the host school does a great job of pulling it off. So I there's no doubt in my mind we'll get that again. What, though, does that mean to downtown Memphis, to the city's economy when you lose something like that? Can you give me a ballpark figure?
Well, it's millions. It's millions of dollars. Downtown Memphis is the slowest to recover, the hardest to get hit. We were the hottest hospitality sector in all of Shelby County, and now we're the weakest. And we've been the weakest since the pandemic started. Restaurants are the slowest. Hotels are the slowest. There's no FedEx Forum. There's no AutoZone Park. There's no Orpheum Theater. Most of the employers down here are small staffs. They haven't brought their people back. The curfews on Beale Street were more stringent than they were in other restaurant and entertainment districts in other parts of the city. So there were fewer people down here with more restrictions. So, downtown is a shell of what we were 7, 8, 9 months ago. Fortunately, tourism and hospitality has rebounded quite nicely, Shelby County wide. So thank God I can say that. Memphis overall is okay, but downtown is just gotten, and we don't have a convention center. As you know, we're doing a $200 million transformation of our convention center, which, by the way, was paid for by hospitality dollars. Not $1 of Shelby County taxpayer or City of Memphis taxpayer dollars were paid on that $200 million, which is going to be beautiful. We'll finish it next month. But unfortunately, everything that we had in there is canceled until early 2021 and maybe beyond. So we don't have any demand generators other than just leisure visitors that are coming here from just a visit, weekend getaways and things like that. So it's tough, and this was a big blow. We were really looking forward to 2021, and of course we've been averaging an NCAA tournament once every 3 or 4 years. So we really look forward to those tournaments because they bring a lot of exposure and a lot of dollars to the city.
Well, the reason that market went crazy today, and I should point out since you brought it up, that the stock market went up 470 today. It is 50 from 30,000, 29,950 the Dow, which is pretty doggone amazing. And, part of that is because we got another really good, efficient vaccine in Moderna to go with what we're getting from Pfizer. And, Johnson & Johnson's doing a big trial here, 60,000 plus. They're looking for people. Go to the St. Jude website. So I feel, I don't mean to be a Pollyanna here, but I believe this in my heart. I think we're going to turn the corner here as soon as we start distributing these incredible vaccines, which we're on the doorstep of it. But it's going to take till next summer, Kevin. I mean, that's just the bottom line, it seems.
Yeah, we worry about what we have in Memphis in May next May. Will enough of the vaccine be in the market by then where festivals and music events and concerts and barbecue contests and those things happen? I know that Jim Holt and his board are, they're going to wait as long as they can wait to make that decision. But NCAA tournament is in March, and they had to make some decisions. That's a monumental task to take a tournament that spreads out all across the country for 3 weeks and move it into one location. So, I know why they had to move as quickly as they had to move. Obviously, they looked at the NBA playoffs as a great model, and it seemed to work pretty efficiently for the NBA and I guess Major League Baseball. So, they followed their lead. And I understand why they're doing what they're doing. And you're not being Pollyanna. We're going to have the roaring 20s. I know that things are going to change in our world as a result of for the impact that COVID is going to have on society. But people are wanderers. People are social gatherers. People like crowds. I mean, people have short memories. Once people feel safe, they will be packing our restaurants, our entertainment districts. They'll be going to our festivals. They'll be selling out our football stadiums and arenas. You're in there announcing games in empty places. I mean, that's no fun for anybody.
No.
And people want to get back to living, and when they feel safe and we get this pandemic behind us, which we will, we'll be in great shape. And by the way, while all that's going on, Memphis and Shelby County is improving. There's billions of dollars that are being spent at the airport, convention center. I mean, brand new hotels that are being built as we speak. I mean, there's great things happening. So when it comes back full force, Memphis and Shelby County is going to be ready for it, and we're looking forward to that day.
May the 2020s be like the roaring 1920s. We'll have a hell of a good time.
Let's just hope they don't end up in a depression at the end of the decade.
That's
like
true.
The 1920s did.
That's true.
With all this free money we're printing.
Yeah. Kevin, hang in there, buddy. We'll be talking good news soon.
We will.
Thank you.
Tough day today, but hey, the good news is NCAA loves Memphis. They'll be back, and we'll have them back in 24, and we'll be ready for them.
Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it.
Take care.
Kevin Kane from the Memphis Tourism and Sports Councils. This portion of the show brought to you by Supercuts, and they're back. They're going strong, but they're committed. Rob Check's family owns 15. They came here 30 years ago. They started with one, he and his dad. Now it's he and his sister, and my goodness, they are very serious about safety for their team, their employees, and, of course, their community. They are a big part of this community. Their kids grew up here. It's all about keeping people safe. That's why Supercuts did this as a company. They got with the great infectious disease doctors, and they developed what they call the Safe Salon Commitment. And it's there to maximize safety and sanitization in all their salons. And by golly, they've done a heck of a job with it. They really have. They're ready to give you a great haircut. They've been for a long time. Most of you have been in, but a reminder, it is still safe even with these spikes. They take it very seriously. It's Supercuts. To learn more about the Safe Salon Commitment and to get ready for your next visit, just go to Supercuts.com. That's an hour in the books. We talk college football, maybe some basketball too, with our friend David Cobb from CBSSports.com. He comes your way next.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Kick off your New Year's weekend at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Thursday, December 31st at 3 o'clock. Top teams from the SEC and Big 12 will be here. We'll be following all of the required health and safety guidelines to provide you the safest conditions possible. So wear your mask and join us at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. For tickets, call 795-7700 or go to Ticketmaster.com. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Water damage to your home or business can be an absolute nightmare. And the faster you remove the standing water, the faster you can prevent secondary damage. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services specializes in water extraction. They have been a trusted name in the Mid-South for over 20 years. They are a Memphis-based company ready to serve your needs with their 24-hour emergency response. They are always on call and will respond within an hour. They work with most insurance companies and are the official restoration contractor of the Memphis Tigers home team. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services can't prevent disasters in your home and at your business, but their water damage team will certainly respond quickly to minimize and restore the damage. Call 901-452-0390. That's 901-452-0390 or online at landmarkco.org.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in on another crazy day. We got an NCAA tournament. You just heard Kevin Kane say it won't be in Memphis. It's all going to probably be in Indianapolis. They're going to bubble it like the way the NBA did in Orlando. This one should be in Indy. Texas A&M and Ole Miss postponed today. That is the fifth game scheduled for this weekend that is postponed now. And so 70 total games now have been axed, postponed, maybe canceled. We'll have to wait and see. We did get news today. Memphis and Tennessee are going to play in 2021, but we have not officially gotten a 2020 schedule for the Tigers to play this particular season, but they'll play the Vols, that rubber match, in Nashville next December the 18th. David Cobb from CBS Sports joins us now, and the big story in the world of college sports is the bubble in Indy. And I think other than cities, and there's 13 of them that lost being hosts and a lot of money for their economies, at least it's a good sign that everybody is serious about having a tournament this year. That is, it's a got to have, isn't it, David Cobb?
Yeah, it's absolutely a must-have. You've got to have an NCAA basketball tournament this year. The revenue that it generates for the NCAA as an organization and for the schools is so important. And I'm glad that they're being proactive months in advance, laying out this plan, because all this good vaccine news is great, but how confident are we that it's going to be available to the general population in time for us to stage a normal NCAA tournament? I'm not very confident in that. So I'm glad we're taking these steps. My question now is what kind of season is it going to be? What is it going to look like? Because I have my doubts that come November 26th, just over a little over a week from now, I have my doubts that, I think the cancellation rate for college basketball games, especially in the early going, may even be higher than what we're seeing for college football.
Yeah, because there's so many. Wednesday the 25th, 2 weeks from this, a week from this Wednesday, there's supposed to be games being played. And David, I just fear that a lot of these multi-team events are a lot of hopefulness, and it won't be a whole lot of reality to it.
Yeah, the Tigers 100%. Are supposed. Yeah, the Tigers are supposed to leave a week from today to go to Sioux Falls. And in that state, as I mentioned earlier, we're talking about a 63% positivity rate on those that are getting tested. I got to wonder, we've already seen Dayton out, Ohio State out, and Utah has bagged out. And Utah's got their own issues in their own state. What are the odds on that thing really happening in a week?
Yeah, well, I mean, the odds of it happening as it is currently scheduled, to me, feels slim, because I almost feel like the chances are much higher that at least one of the teams that is scheduled to participate will end up having a case. And when you have a case and you're going to a multi-team event, the abundance of caution needs to be even higher, because if you take it to an event like that and you infect every other team there, well, then you haven't just set yourself back for 2 weeks. You've set every other team there potentially back for 2 weeks. And so I think the conference commissioners and the leaders in the NCAA, they need to be sounding caution about these multi-team events because, I mean, the last thing that we need is for an outbreak to occur at one of them that sets several teams back, for several more games. And that's to me is my concern about the multi-team events. And so I hope that, they go off without a hitch. I'm just skeptical about everybody getting on a plane, going to some place, and doing that without the virus being there. So I'd love to be wrong. It's just like the numbers everywhere, all across the country, are really high right now. The good news, though, is that, it feels like we've sort of abandoned some of these more fearful notions that, like, at the beginning everyone was afraid of, such as the myocarditis. I think we've pretty much put to bed any notion that, the 18 to 22-year-olds are going to suddenly start collapsing after, an hour of physical activity. Now it's just a matter of managing the cases and getting a vaccine out there as quickly as possible.
But, David, we see one case, what it's doing across college football, where you have 70 to 100-man rosters. I mean, at Texas A&M, for example, and their cancellation last weekend and now against Ole Miss. There's one case, asymptomatic, not to sniffles, not a fever, not body aches, not anything, and one case shuts down, it impacts almost 200 people. So with college basketball, with much narrower rosters, we know what one could do.
Yeah, so the difference in basketball, if you think about it, I mean, especially now, think about it, everybody switches the pick and roll. You don't just guard your one man anymore. With the exception of the center, the other four positions all switch on to every other player. So you're gonna be face to face with almost everybody on your own team and almost everybody on the opposing team for extended periods of time over the course of a game, and especially over the course of practice. I mean, I've watched, Tennessee practice when I was on the beat there. Rick Barnes would have open practices, and everybody down to the walk-on is participating. When they go 5-on-5, they rotate players in and out. In that way, it's even more so than football, a situation where, kind of, if you're going by the letter of the rules with COVID-19, it's kind of hard to skirt by in basketball and say that, this player had it, but we reviewed the practice tape and they never came within 6 feet of these people for more than 5 minutes. It's really hard to pull that off in basketball.
No.
So,
let's be honest. The protocols that Texas A&M are going through were developed by that state's or that county in Texas, their particular health department, and if there's one guy, but he's been around 100 guys, that means they miss 2 games. And they affect, as you just mentioned, Brett, they affect the University of Tennessee and they affect Ole Miss because now they're out for 2 weeks. So that's 300 people that are affected by one guy with contact tracing. And with basketball being indoor, the same thing's going to happen.
Who would not even know he had it had he not been tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the disappointing thing I think about the last couple of months has been the unreliability of the rapid testing that leagues like the Big Ten and the Pac-12, they were touting them as their reason for why all of a sudden, after months of acting like they weren't going to play football this fall, this was the, sort of their golden ticket to be able to play and be able to play safely. And what we've seen, though, is that, one, oftentimes these tests are not reliable. I think about Stanford and quarterback Davis Mills, not being able to play last week when they lost to Oregon because of what turned out to be a false positive. And so I think that there was a lot of misplaced optimism in some of the testing technology that really has not come to fruition, which has not helped college sports in the way that a lot of people thought it would, myself included. And so that's been disappointing, but even though the case numbers are high right now, I finally feel like the light is at the end of the tunnel for the sports world in terms of the vaccines. And it's not just Pfizer now. it's Johnson & Johnson as well, maybe some other companies that I'm not aware of that are getting closer with this thing. And so, I don't know exactly what college basketball season is going to look like, but I feel pretty good about after the NCAA tournament, in terms of college sports in the following football season. And obviously from then on, I think, barring some sort of unforeseen setback here, I feel like, the calendar will start to normalize after this year's NCAA tournament.
What rung your bell from this college football weekend? For me, and a little bit later, if we have time, we're going to get in the weekend, who won the weekend and the overreactions. I thought quarterbacks stole the show this weekend. You had three amazing guys in Howell at North Carolina, Trask at Florida, and Matt Corral at Ole Miss. I mean, the kinds of numbers you wouldn't believe. It almost makes you wonder, are they playing defense in the COVID era?
Well, Matt Corral just got Will Muschamp fired, so that sticks out
to me.
He sure did. That sticks out to me. That was, clearly, if you'd watched either of those teams play this year, you had to see that one coming. I was asked to pick that one against the spread, and you look at it, and you're like, man, Ole Miss, an 11-point spread, a 2-win Ole Miss team, an 11-point favorite against a league opponent. But then you think about it, all right, going into that game, South Carolina had allowed 100 points over its previous two games, and Ole Miss's offense has been really good. And so, I ended up going with the Ole Miss side of that equation, just because I didn't think South Carolina could keep up. And sure enough, Ole Miss outscored them and got Will Muschamp fired. So that sticks out to me. And then the other thing that sticks out to me is Indiana taking care of business again and setting up a really intriguing matchup with Ohio State. I don't necessarily expect Indiana to win, but the fact that Indiana is in this position as a top 10 team, to me is astounding, and credit to Tom Allen, because he's done a fantastic job there. And Indiana, clearly the second best team in that division, with Michigan and Penn State really, really struggling.
David, according to David Cobb, give me the perfect choices for Michigan to replace Jim Harbaugh and for the South Carolina now open job with Will Muschamp's ouster.
Yeah, everybody immediately that I've seen has immediately listed off Hugh Freeze as the favorite for the South Carolina job.
Yep.
And my first thought when I hear that is that would be a phenomenal hire for South Carolina, because Hugh Freeze, what he's done at Liberty has proven the fact that he is what he was at Ole Miss, which is a really good football coach. And he would still be at Ole Miss if not for things that had nothing really to do with his ability as a football coach. I think if I'm Hugh Freeze, after the contract extension and raise that I just got at Liberty, no disrespect to South Carolina, but I might be more interested in holding out for that Michigan job, to be honest, because I think that on this market, with the coaches that are out there, I think that Hugh Freeze is going to be at the top of the list for other schools too, not just South Carolina. And so if I'm Hugh Freeze, I'm not necessarily inclined to be so eager to get back into the SEC that I pass up on other opportunities that may be out there, like the Michigan job. So if I'm Michigan, I'm interested in Hugh Freeze.
Wrong accent to be coach at Michigan.
I don't know. I think it could be interesting. I think the change in geography could be good for Hugh Freeze, because we just assume he wants to be back in the SEC. That's obviously, where his background is geographically. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of Hugh coaching in another league. So after that, I think South Carolina's still got a lot of good choices. I would just be a little bit disappointed if Hugh Freeze just threw in the towel this early and said, yeah, I'm going to cash in my chips on this Liberty deal and go to South Carolina. Steve Spurrier did a great job there. Lou Holtz did a great job there, but that's a really tough job with Clemson right up the road, with Florida and Georgia in the division. It's kind of like the Tennessee job, just with less history, less tradition. That's tough. I'm sorry.
And Clemson in state.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, and an even harder spot, I think, to recruit. And you mentioned Steve Spurrier. He did a good job there. He did okay, but you didn't win any national titles there. What?
Yeah.
He
took
did.
South Carolina to Atlanta.
He took.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it is extraordinary because it's South Carolina. That is my point, and I'm with you. He just signed a new deal to 2026. I don't remember what were the terms on that. How much money is he making?
Well, because it's a private school, I don't know that we know the specifics of it, and maybe it's been reported and I missed it. But the insinuation on Hugh Freeze's part, I mean, overtly, is that he wanted to be there for a long time. Now, in a way, what Liberty may have been doing was essentially bolstering, what it's going to get when another school does hire Hugh Freeze away.
We're serious about football. That's what it said.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I think that somebody in South Carolina ought to be taking a much harder look at than some of the early hot boards for their opening have suggested. It's a name I've seen 5 or 6 down, but it's a name that I think warrants a really hard look, and that's the Coastal Carolina coach, Jamie Chadwell. He's been a head coach at, this is his 3rd school at which he's been a head coach in the state of South Carolina. It's his first FBS job, and I understand the trepidation and the hesitation, which is that he's never even worked in a Power 5 job, much less an SEC job, not even as an assistant, not even as a graduate assistant. But the guy's won everywhere he's been, and he's got Coastal Carolina undefeated after they were, I think, were picked to finish last in the Sun Belt. That's unbelievable coaching. And the other part of that is that he's an offensive coach. And so what we usually see, right, is when a defensive guy fails, the program often will turn to an offensive guy or vice versa. And so I think the easier sell to the fan base right now is an offensive coach in South Carolina. And if Hugh Freeze doesn't work out, I think that Jamie Chadwell's a rising star who's already in state, who's already proven it at several jobs that he can be a head coach. I think that he would be a fantastic fit.
I think that's right on the money. David Cobb, hope we got a lot of games to watch this weekend, and we can talk about it next Monday. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Our title sponsor
you,
for this hour of the program, it's Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Told you I went to lunch with them last week, and this is the week. And I know Vincent Gerard is going to call me as soon as the 2021 SUV from Genesis is here. I told you, I've read some industry rags that say this new SUV is the equivalent of a $300,000 luxury car. I'm not making that up. This is how good this SUV is going to be. And I've told you before, personal experience with the G70, that's the smaller sedan. The Genesis G70 is the fastest, best performing car I've ever had. 2 of them are available that I know of. There may be more. They may be gone by now. But they are with a special sale because all the 2021s are coming in. They got to move these 2020s. You get a special price and 0% financing for 72 months. Wow. You're not going to get a better deal than that. And these cars are gorgeous, and they perform like none other. Please go down and see my guys at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. The product is so good, every new car gets a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, and now every new car, Hyundai or Genesis, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. This is how they've raised the bar at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. It is time for medals. All right, we're going to try to do this in a relatively good period of time. Only 1 medal per, I was told by my man, Brett Norsworthy. So I'll give Tiger a bronze medal because I don't know of any human being that could get a 10 on any hole, let alone a par 3. A 10. And
not head to the parking lot.
And then birdie 5 of the next 6 holes, the last 4 at Augusta National. 17
Dave,
and 18 are not easy.
Dave, that was a lot of pride. That was a lot of pride to, A, get himself in that position, but B, to get out of it and soldier on.
Yeah. That was called the red tushy, if you know what I mean. It got his attention. I'm going to give a silver medal, I guess, to Cameron Smith. I guess my theme is going to be Masters since we're only doing one. And Cameron Smith, well, my goodness, the guy is the only human being in all the years since Bobby Jones and Allison, give me the architect, McAllister. Allison McAllister?
Alistair McKenzie.
Alistair McKenzie, thank you.
Alistair McKenzie.
Yeah. No one, since they opened up the place for competition in their invitational, has had 4 rounds in the 60s until the young 27-year-old Cameron Smith from Australia was able to do that. 4 rounds in the 60s, 15 under par. What did he get for that effort? Butkus. Nothing. Except the first guy who ever did it.
Got a big old check, though. And like the U.S. Open, if Bryson DeChambeau had not been at Wingfoot, it would have been a great tournament. If Dustin Johnson hadn't been at Augusta, that would have been a pretty fun tournament to watch.
Well, we would have had a playoff between Cameron Smith and the 22-year-old South Korean Sung Jae-im. That would have been fun for sure.
And he looked just happy as he could be to be there, didn't he?
Well, did you see what he told?
It was refreshing.
Yeah, he said in the post-match interview, he goes, my goal was to make the cut. That's all.
He was happy as he could be.
Oh, he was. He really was. Hey, you know what I thought was funny about that, too? I got to be honest. He's sitting there, and his caddy actually is Dustin Johnson's old caddy, who lost the gig because his brother Austin Johnson, took over for when this guy Bob was sick, and of course they won a tournament, and the rest is history. Dustin wanted his brother on his bag, and they're sharing all this great moments now in glory. So that's cool. This guy was on Im's bag, and Im and he are talking English during the discussions on what club to use and where to aim and everything else. Then he comes to the post thing with an interpreter. Like he can't understand the questions? I don't know. I found that kind of funny. My gold medal, that has to go to Dustin Johnson. The record for 4 rounds is 18 under at Augusta National. That's held first by Tiger Woods when he won the tournament by 12 strokes. Then it was tied by Jordan Spieth. And now it's broken by 2. 20 under. DJ, second major, clearly solidifying himself as the best player in golf right now.
My bronze medal goes to Notre Dame in a game that a lot of people were thinking maybe hangover and look out for the upset. They were really able to win fairly easily in Chestnut Hill against Boston College. In Notre Dame, all they have to do now is just get to the ACC championship game. And I think even in a loss there, they're probably in the college football playoff. My silver medal goes to, and probably the front runner now for the Heisman Trophy, Kyle Trask at Florida. And in the strange coincidence of the weekend, playing against Felipe Franks that got hurt to open up the position for him at Florida, Kyle Trask playing that quarterback position at a super high level. And gold medal for me goes to Dustin Johnson. He made it look easy. Well, it was easy for him, only 4 bogeys all weekend. That's 1 per day. That'll usually win you a lot, and it won him a lot in golf immortality for sure.
No doubt about it, and he looks good in that green jacket.
We got time for Rust.
You want to do that right
Go ahead.
now? Okay.
Sure.
My Rust is to Drew Barrett. Drew Barrett actually had the audacity, he did this on several occasions, to proclaim victory.
Took a victory lap
in the golf picking contest, only to fall flat.
Wasn't
on
close
his
to over.
face. No. John Goen passed him, who's going to be joining us here in a minute, and earning Drew a big, fat
Drew only
Rust.
beat you by $2 million, so he really was lucky to hang on to second.
He was. I would have to agree with that.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about. I'm glad we actually have Olympic music going up because the banner is about to go on the wall right now as we speak. So
the banner?
You're hanging a banner for second?
For winning.
What do you mean winning? He is putting up something. You can see it if you follow us on Facebook.
So you're going full Trump and claiming you won?
he is. What is that?
I went to bed on Saturday leading. And then all of a sudden, this extra money came out of nowhere. Where did all this extra money come from? I was in first. I'm suing.
But Drew, I can promise you this.
We will figure out where that fake money fraud is coming from.
Oh, my goodness.
I can promise you this, Drew. At noon on January 20th in Washington, D.C., the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is going to swear Joe Biden in as president and Kamala Harris in as vice president. On that same day, John Gowen's still going to be golf picking champion for this year, no matter what banner you have
and
up.
We'll have John Gowen come in and take that banner down. There's no doubt.
I got one rush.
Yeah.
And it goes to Bryson DeChambeau. It was a bad look all weekend for him. Inferred that he was ill.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit like the worse he played, the sicker he got.
Well, he said, the way he talked, those are symptoms of vertigo.
Well, I know that.
He's lost.
I couldn't have been swinging a golf club.
I think he may have lost his balance. I'm not sure it was vertigo. I think that may be the best way to put it. And those are our medals, good and bad. This portion of the show brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, the tune-up. And the tune-up is so important. I think in the spring, that's to get your air conditioning system ready, but maybe even more important in the fall to get your heater going, because they will throw in a heating system safety check, and they do that with no extra charge. $69 for the 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up, where they come in, they're going to go inside, take out your old filter, put in a new filter, and they tune those 16 points up perfectly so everything is in rhythm. And then they go outside, and they will clean that outside unit of all the leaves and the dirt and the grime. Then they come back inside. And this time they're going to do that safety system check, including a carbon monoxide test. They're going to do that all for $69. You can't beat it, folks, and you'll really sleep well at night knowing everything is working and safe with that carbon monoxide test. All you got to do is make the call, 384-3511, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. We talk more Masters, final time this year. We're bringing our friend from Timber Trust, John Gowen, is coming your way next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Spend the holidays at home this year with a little help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure has so many spas in stock and hundreds more on order. Now's your time to really save big. Huge savings on pool tables, game tables, arcades, massage chairs, and a whole lot more. Buy a pool now and save the 2021 price increase. Plus, you'll get early installation scheduling. The Holidays at Home sale happening now at Family Leisure, Whidden Road at I-40, where family and fun come together for the holidays.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hey, everybody, it's the best time of the year to come out here to Olive Branch and get that new All-Star Chevy Silverado or Tahoe or one of these perfect new Suburbans. This is the deal. We asked All-Star Chevy to get what everybody wants for the holidays, and guess what? They went out and got them, and the deals are spot on. Seriously, these will go fast, so come out this week if you can. All-Star Chevy has more new Silverados 2020 and 2021. Lots of the new third-row seating Traverses, and you could still get thousands in cash back. If you want pre-owned, Olive Branch is the place to be. Look, All-Star Chevy's certified pre-owned Chevrolets, they have the best selection I've seen anywhere. And remember, it's not Mount Moriah or South Haven, not Collierville or the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. And everyone at All-Star Chevy has one job, just one job, to make sure you have more fun, you get the best deal on what you want, and in record time. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch or online at allstarautogroup.com.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join us every Saturday morning on Sports 56 WHBQ from 8 to 10 a.m. and 96.1 FM and the new FM 98.5. We'll be covering the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball. We'll look into recruiting. We'll have guests from around the country with the latest news, the most knowledgeable people out there, the coaches, the players, the people who play the games. Don't forget to join us on the sidelines. Sports 56, 96.1, and the new FM 98.5.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Halfway through a very busy Monday afternoon, another one of these perfect autumn days. Lots of news today, but we're all sort of basking in the glory of yesterday when we watched a Masters that we'll never see another one like that because there will probably most likely never be another one in November. And the number one player in the world was the winner. And the guy who recognized the number one player as being the winner before he even swung a golf club was our own pro from Timber Trust. That would be John Goen. Congratulations. You have now
Way to go, John.
officially won.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I rallied past Drew's insurmountable lead, I guess.
Well,
it was very surmountable. Drew is claiming he's gone full Trump on us and says he won.
Well, that's his right. He can do that. I mean, doesn't change the fact of what truly happened.
There's no more proof in it than either case.
Right.
All I know is in a week, nobody will remember the winner, but that banner will still be there. So that's all that matters.
We will remember, Drew. That is your problem. We have long memories in these rooms. That's
long
for sure.
memories.
What's the biggest thing you took away from what you saw this past weekend, John Goen?
Well, clearly there's a substantial difference in how Augusta National plays in the fall versus the spring. We talked about that early on. How wet the golf course was, but I mean, Dustin Johnson was just so dominant. It truly looked like he was the number one player in the world. And I mean, it could very well kind of spark a little bit for DJ. He was very, emotional kind of after the victory. I think this kind of means something to him after all he's kind of gone through at Augusta. With the slipping down the stairs, being the number one player and the favorite kind of coming in a few years ago and everything else. So this one truly kind of meant something to him. So I'm going to be very curious to kind of see how much momentum he really kind of takes from this and moves through the rest of the golf calendar, which in my mind right now could very well mean a couple of majors for DJ next year. I think that could very well be possible. So but just a dominant performance. I was happy to see him get to 20. I was happy to see him hit the scoring record because Jordan kind of got there and gave that shot back kind of coming in. So, but just very impressive. And then, of course, Tiger's 10 on the 12th hole was made him look very, very human, which I'm sure we all enjoyed. And but just a great overall Masters. I thought the aerial views with the drones were something that were just spectacular. I loved all of it. I think you were able to just kind of get a better understanding and appreciation. I think there were also some camera angles that gave the folks that have not been to Augusta the opportunity to truly see the undulation and changes in those greens and maybe have a little bit better appreciation for that. And maybe they were able to show more of those angles without having the patrons there.
John, I think you nail it with the coverage and two of those greens, 14 and 17. If you're there, you see it. But if you're not, you really can't appreciate just how diabolical those greens are. And TV was able this weekend to capture that. Next year, the majors, of course, in April, the Masters at Augusta National. In June, or rather in May, the PGA will be at Kiowa Island in South Carolina, home state of Dustin Johnson. Then Torrey Pines for the U.S. Open, and then the makeup for the Open Championship at Royal St. George's. He could win at Kiowa next year, and then Dustin Johnson would be one away from the career slam. Can he win a Open Championship, a British Open, or does he hit it too high to play in that much wind?
I think he could have an opportunity. The course that comes to mind, where you can get flat calm, it would be St. Andrews. St. Andrews, little wind, is a just very vulnerable golf course for a guy like DJ. So that would be the one place. I'm sure that there's a couple that come to mind. Definitely not a Carnoustie or anything along those lines. But, I think that there could be the right opportunity for DJ of winning an Open Championship.
Well, to me, I mean, the guy obviously changed the way he played, and he went to that cut shot, that fade, which he controls beautifully. But he didn't start out hitting that shot. He learned it and he perfected it. Why couldn't he? He's got a couple of weeks to prepare, go over early, like Phil Mickelson has done in the past, while other players have done that in the past, and learn how to put the ball back in your stance and hold your shot a little bit shorter and keep it lower. I mean, you would think if you're a pro and you understand the nuances of your swing, you could learn how to hit a ball low to be a wind cheater, couldn't you?
Well, I'm sure he could definitely figure it out. I think the other side of that is that how important is a career Grand Slam to him, and does he want to try to change his golf swing for literally one golf course? Sure. I mean, he could figure out how to do that. I mean, heck, he was winning an Open Championship before he, in essence, gave it away. A few years ago. So, again, I think that there's clearly an opportunity for him to be a career Grand Slam winner and win an Open Championship.
John, Rory McIlroy really came out of this weekend maybe buoyed as much as anyone other than the winner and young Cameron Smith and Sung Jae Im. He's got to be itching to get back there in April.
Oh, I'm sure he probably is. I mean, if 55 in the opening round for Rory, I mean, who knows what happens? But then again, Cameron Smith has 3 rounds in the 60s and loses by 5 shots. It just goes to show how dominant of a performance Dustin Johnson has.
Rough company.
Yeah, no doubt, right? I'd love to be able to go out and shoot 4 rounds in the 60s and lose by 5 in a major. That's just crazy.
Well,
but definitely Rory. I think Rory is going to be itching, to get back to Augusta and try to, wrap up that career Grand Slam.
Well, we were talking earlier about what a great era this is. You know, there's 10 guys, I think, easy, that you could say could win a major. That at the next major you could say they could win it. From Rahm, even guys like Jason Day, we've even forgotten about him, and Rory and Brooks Koepka, and you know the list really goes on and on and on. Maybe at Augusta,
Bryson, Justin.
Oh yeah, and Justin Thomas would probably be the first one on that list. Most of these guys are young. Dustin Johnson is the oldest of those guys at age 36. What do you think, and I asked this earlier, what do you think is now the age of a PGA Tour player hitting his prime?
I would tend to think, anywhere in that 28, 29 to probably, 35, 36. And clearly in today's day and age, we have seen that window for some of these guys could widen substantially. I mean, Justin Thomas, for as young as he is, clearly it's going to be interesting to see how he progresses over the next couple of years. But, I mean, for some of these guys, it could be 26, 27 to the time in which they're 38 or 39. I mean, look at the stretch of golf that Phil Mickelson had late in his career to win the amount of majors that he won at a much older age. With their fitness and their health and diet and everything else, I think that they have definitely figured out a way to prolong what that window could potentially be as to how dominant they could be.
John, give us, because we won't visit with you on the air for a while now, and we have certainly enjoyed watching Timber Trust grow and keeping up with that with you and having fun talking golf with you. You're just one of the fun, great golf authorities in our area. But give me one big prediction for 2021 on the course of play and away from the course for the PGA Tour.
Well, I think, as I said early on, I think DJ has a legitimate chance to win 2 majors next year. I would not be surprised in the least if he figures out a way to repeat at Augusta in a very short window. I could see Dustin, repeating in April, and then, probably winning to your point. It could be a PGA at Kiowa. It could be the U.S. Open at Torrey. I think that those golf courses have the potential of setting up well for him. That away or off the golf course, really hard to say. I mean, obviously, we hope to have fans return back to the golf course. But, there's still so much uncertainty right now with the continuation of COVID and cases and how we're going to get through this winter as a country. That could still continue to linger into next year's calendar season and everything along those lines. So, those would be the things, I guess, that would come to mind on and off, is just this continuation of the lack of fans. And I was very interested to hear from guys like Paul Casey and everything as to how it has impacted some of them a little bit more than maybe what we were aware of or kind of understanding. I mean, they were definitely talking. Rory is one of those guys that it's come up that, he feeds off the crowd, and
he was the first guy to say it.
Yeah, juices him up a little bit. So, you hope we're going to get back to a little bit of that, but I mean, we're clearly a very long way from any of that happening as we continue to walk a very fine line in our sporting events nowadays. And as far as what's going to happen, even in the next days, weeks, yet alone, as we get back to Augusta in April of next year.
Maybe Augusta with a couple or three vaccines going at the same time. Maybe that'll be the first place we get decent crowds in. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe part of it will be you have to show your vaccination card to get in. That would be a good touch. John, continued success at Timber Trust. We thank you so much for being with us this year. Congratulations on winning the picking contest, and we'll do it again next year.
Guys, thanks so much for everything. Well, you guys have a great winter, and keep your fingers crossed so we get through the rest of college football and everything, and we will look forward to talking next April.
You got it. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
John Goen, good guy at Timber Trust. Brought to you by Sheldon Rosengart, another good guy with Mark Spensdorf. And he promised his clients he'd advertise their homes on this show. So here you go. 115 Palisade near the University of Memphis, under contract. 1106 Oak Ridge near Dixon Gallery, under contract. In Germantown, his listing on Willowbrook and Old Pike Drive, both under contract. So I asked Sheldon, why couldn't he advertise homes that weren't sold? And he said, using his highly successful strategic marketing program, they just sell too quickly. He also said preparation, presentation, proper pricing, the P's. They're the keys to any successful sale, and that is why people say when you want the job done, you call Sheldon. He says you should talk to 2 or 3 real estate brokers, but make sure he's one of them. You can reach Sheldon Rosengarten, 483-0546, or MemphisRelocate.com. Here we go, 483-0546, or MemphisRelocate.com. Sheldon will get it done. Give him a call. We are back in just a minute. We will tell you who won the weekend in both the pros and in college football and the overreactions. That comes your way in just a minute.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
O'Reilly. This is Jesse's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
As a nurse, not making it to work was not an option. But driving through the snow with my wiper blades struggling, I just didn't feel safe. So I pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before I knew it, an employee was offering to install the wiper blades on my car. I got to stay out of the snow for a moment, and I still made it to work on time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What's up, Memphis? This is former Memphis kicker Steven Gostkowski. I know you've heard of Platinum Jewelers by now. You've heard from former Grizzly Mike Miller and my man D'Angelo Williams tell you about them. Now take it from me, a 2-time Super Bowl champ. Platinum Jewelers is the best in the business. When it's time for jewelry, make sure you give Platinum Jewelers a look before you buy.
Platinum Jewelers has a brand new location in Germantown at 9387 Poplar Avenue. Visit them or at 545 Perkins Extended in East Memphis or online at platinumjewelers.com.
For the ones standing guard, for the eagle-eyed, for the knights in shining armor, and for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, we understand. With everything that's happening, with all the new regulations, maybe you're not ready to come and hang out at Sweetgrass to catch a ball game. We want you to, we really do. And we're open for you to do just that. But we're also offering the next best thing, the new Sweetgrass Tailgate Party Packs. Whether it's wings, house-made dips, sliders, or other Sweetgrass tasty treats, all you have to do is call us or go to sweetgrassmemphis.com to order just what you're dreaming of when you're dreaming of watching sports and enjoying some sweet, sweet Sweetgrass.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Well, lots happened this weekend, that is for sure. So we love trying to pick the winners of the weekend, college football and the NFL. Myself, Drew, Brett, we all have put our thinking caps on. We'll also give you the overreactions, both college and pro. I'll start. My winner of the weekend for college football, the quarterback, Sam Howell, North Carolina, 550 yards, 6 touchdowns. Kyle Trask, Florida, 326 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's had 4 touchdowns passed in every single game that Florida has played so far. And then Matt Corral, just a pedestrian, 513 yards in 4 touchdowns in their win over South Carolina. That is some pretty good stuff.
Matt Corral with only 7 incompletions in the last 2 games. I know Vandy in South Carolina, but only 7 times
I don't care.
has the football hit the ground. Against air.
If
I
you're
mean, in
playing junior
backyard.
high school, come on. You still got to complete them.
Anything. My college football team or thing that won the weekend, Tom Allen in Indiana. Now it does. It sets up a big one for him. Why isn't he mentioned more prominently in the Michigan conversation?
I don't know. I know this, though. You know, David Cobb mentioned Ohio State and Indiana this week, and everybody's talking about Tom Allen and the poor accident, the injury that his son had and how emotional he got with that. But they're 20-point underdogs.
Beat Ohio State.
They're 20-point underdogs to Ohio State, so that'll be tough. Drew, your winner for the weekend in college?
My winner from the weekend in college football, I'm going with 16th ranked Marshall Thundering Herd, 42-14 win over Middle Tennessee. I know it doesn't sound that impressive of a win, but for everything that surrounded the game, the 50th anniversary of the plane crash that almost basically did destroy that entire program and that entire city, just the emotion of it to be able to come out and play as well as they did, and of course Grant Wells, their great quarterback, 5 touchdowns, 336 yards. He looked phenomenal again.
Mm-hmm.
And keep Doc Holliday at Marshall on some of these coaching lists, Drew. That's a good one.
That would be good. He's no spring chicken, though. Doc Marshall's getting up there a little bit, but he certainly is a good coach. For the pros, my winner of the weekend was the play. Arizona's Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins, miraculously beating the Buffalo Bills and covering, by the way, by half a point. I had 2 of those this week where I lost half points. What a play.
Tough, Dave. I hate it when that happens.
I know you do. What a pass,
It's like a putt hanging on the edge.
I mean, Kyler Murray's almost knocked out of bounds. He's got to throw against his body because he ran left and he's a right-hander. Oh, my goodness.
But that catch.
And that catch, as DeAndre Hopkins put it, he goes, I dunked on all 3 of them because there were 3 Buffalo Bills right there to knock it away, and they let him catch the ball.
My NFL winner, the old man, Tom Brady. 3 touchdown passes, 341 yards, 28 of 39. And when some were starting to open the conversation of maybe writing him off, and after lengthy travel delays to get to Charlotte, Tom Brady showed him not so fast.
My winner is the exact same as Dave's. You got to give it to Arizona Cardinals for that great play and beating a team like the Buffalo Bills. I guess it's finally time that I fully buy into the Kyler Murray, Coach McDreamy experiment that's going on in Arizona because it's actually working.
I'm there with Kyler Murray. I don't know if I am with Coach McDreamy.
He's drawing up the plays. Kyler Murray's not drawing them up, although Kyler Murray made that play. That is for sure. I didn't think Coach McDreamy would do it either, but he's doing it. And I guess he deserves the credit. Overreaction, college football. For me, you know what? Ole Miss beat South Carolina so badly, they ought to fire their coach. Oh. Oh, they did? They fired Will Muschamp? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Went to press too fast. Dewey beats Truman. Drew wins the golf picks. Went to press too fast.
Exactly.
Ooh, that was rough. Drew.
Oh, see, if I did that, you'd be all over me. Cruel. Throwing the kid under the bus.
Well, you're right. My college football overreaction, Jim Harbaugh's not going to make the season. They're going to fire him in season.
I think that could happen.
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think
Michigan
will
man,
do that.
their
No.
dream choice.
Yeah, it's not working out. Even he knows. He blamed it on himself. I'll give him credit for that. Your overreaction?
My overreaction from the weekend, the U's back. I mean, 1-point win over a Virginia Tech team that just lost to Liberty. The U is back. I mean, it's 100% certain. We can close the door on asking if they're back. They are back. Derek King is going to win at least a national championship for Miami this year. They're winning. They're going to beat Clemson. They're going to get into a ACC championship and to the Final Four.
I think the question is Justin Fuente coming back after that?
That's a big question.
Yeah. My overreaction in the NFL is Bill Belichick controls the weather. I don't know if you saw, but when they took the lead, the rain started. It was at its heaviest when Baltimore gets the ball back to try to win the game, and, they got to go.
It was raining
yards.
sideways.
It was raining the hardest I've ever seen it in New England this time of year. I mean, raining so hard, he couldn't even see his receivers. It was raining that hard. And you know what? After the game was over, the rain stopped 5 minutes after the game. 5 minutes after the game, it was clear.
My NFL overreaction, Tua Tagovailoa is going to make them forget all about Dan Marino in South Florida. Look at his 3 wins.
He's 3-0,
yesterday
baby.
Over rookie contemporary Herbert, last week over Kyler Murray, and against Jared Goff. That's 3 pretty good wins to have. He makes them forget number 13.
Yeah. If that happens, we got a story. But he's 3-0. There is no doubt about that. And those are our –
Oh, I still got to go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. My overreaction of the weekend, the Ravens, they're fake good. I mean, you might as well just take that Raven and the B off their helmet, slap a orange and blue C on it, and call us the Bears, because it's just like the Bears when they were 5-1. So are the Ravens. Fake good.
It's just no need to go that direction. It's just none. I mean, only I could rip on Mitch Foles.
I cannot believe he just said that. I really cannot believe it. The Bears win
Remember when the Bears were 5-1 on Monday Night Football, and now tonight they're on Monday Night Football and they're 5-4.
Got news for you. The Bears win tonight. They're in the playoffs. Same way Baltimore is. And now Baltimore's got a bad loss. The Bears haven't lost to a team like New England, for goodness sake. They have not. That's wow. This portion of the show brought to you by James Davis, a Memphis original. I think if you were trying to go to a men's store in Memphis, this is the one you've got to go see. There's plenty of reasons why, but I'm going to start with the Stant custom shirt system. Now, I've fallen in love with custom clothes because my body feels good in it. I know I look good in it, and James Davis Men's Store with the Stant system, it's affordable. I can get a custom shirt that'll fit me in the neck perfectly to wear ties and fits everywhere for $98. I go in, I get 3 measurements, 15 seconds. A week later, for $98, I got a custom-fitting shirt. Now they're doing pants the same way, $168. The best deal is the Paul Betenley suits. Still 2 for $795. You got to look good on Zoom calls. You look like $1 million in a Paul Betenley suit. And now they got sweaters and pullovers. This is good for eating outside when it's a little chilly. Like tonight, Peter Millar and Johnny O. So many reasons why this is the best men's store in Memphis. It's James Davis in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. That's 2 hours in the books. When we come back, we'll talk NBA. It's a big week for the NBA. One big trade already today. Brian Geltzeiler from NBAHoopsCritics.com. He comes your way next.
Jim Gray from Westwood One here with a Monday Night Football preview. NFC North action coming up from Soldier Field in Chicago with the Bears hosting the Vikings. Minnesota is 3-5, but has won back-to-back games thanks to big performances from the league's leading rusher, Dalvin Cook. He posted 200-plus scrimmage yards and multiple touchdowns in each of the wins. Now they face a Bears team that is 5-4, but needing to break a 3-game losing skid. Head coach Matt Nagy.
Now we all need to raise our play with where we're at right now and some of the injury bugs that we've had and different things, but that's what every other team is going through as well.
Kevin Harlan and Hall of Famer Kurt Warner will have the call of the Bears and the Vikings on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
At Lowe's, we're giving a special thanks to our pros during our Provember event, now through November 25th. We have deals and events, plus credit programs that work for pros. We're offering everyday 5% savings on eligible purchases. Plus, through March 31st, 2021, 60 days promotional financing on your Lowe's business account, or extended terms on eligible account receivables. Learn more in-store or at lowesforpros.com. You'll see why we're the new home for pros. Subject to credit approval, terms apply, U.S. only.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Action247.com is your Tennessee sportsbook for same-day pay. Action247.com. Local, legal. A sportsbook by Tennesseans, for Tennesseans. Win a little or win a lot. Action247 has same-day pay. The other guys make you wait for your winnings. No more waiting with Action247 same-day pay. Visit us online at Action247.com. Local, legal. Action247. You got action.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-889-9789.
I'm a big fan of Town Village, and there is always something to do year-round. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Brian Geltzeiler from hoopscritic.com on all things NBA will join us after I tell you about FanDuel. So you're watching the game, you see another ad for FanDuel Sportsbook, and you think to yourself, is that legal here in Tennessee? You bet it is. FanDuel Sportsbook, now legal in Tennessee. Get on that action tonight on that Monday night football game. or even have fun when we get back to NBA. You can place your first bet on FanDuel Sportsbook risk-free and get up to $1,000 back if you don't win. Seriously, there's no strings attached. Just place any bet you want. If you win, you keep the cash. If you lose, you'll get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in bonus site credit, so you can take another shot at the end zone tonight. Whether it's the visiting Vikings or the hometown Bears, you could use that as your risk-free bet. And with FanDuel Sportsbook, generous risk-free bets are just the beginning. They've got a simple app, live betting on every game, and exhilarating bet types such as same-game parlays, where you combine multiple bets from one game into a single parlay, and once you win on FanDuel Sportsbook, they get you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. You saw the TNT FanDuel partnership for the NBA playoffs. You'll see a lot more of that when the NBA gets their season started on December 22nd. Easy to register, easy to deposit, easy to find your bet. To claim your risk-free bet, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And be sure to sign up for promo code CASH so they know that we sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience that you've come to know and trust at DeSoto Auto Sales. Check out all those happy referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com. No shortcuts. You walk in, you're treated like family because they know we live in a world today that time matters, and that's why they want you to have the ultimate car experience. Within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in time to do it over your busy lunch hour or immediately after work. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. NBA draft this week, and to talk all things NBA with us from HoopsCritic.com, on Twitter at HoopsCritic, it's Brian Geltzeiler. It is great to have you on, and it's great to feel like the NBA season is going to be back on its natural footing. Brian Geltzeiler, good afternoon.
Hey, Brett, how we doing? Hey, Dave. You know, listen, it's bizarre. I mean, it feels like we just ended, kind of, because you know what? We did just end. And normally we get our draft in June and our off season in July. And here it's all leading up into Thanksgiving. I mean, we're overdue with it. It's got to be done. And we got a very interesting off season coming up and an interesting draft on Wednesday. This is kind of the hand that 2020 has dealt us. And you know what? We're going to play it.
Well, the offseason's already begun. How about the trade today? Chris Paul to the Phoenix Suns for 4 players and a draft pick. I've seen a bunch of people just picking this thing out, and they're all going gaga over Sam Presti, who figures out ways to keep Oak City relevant and within salary confines. But maybe this is what Phoenix really needed. How do you view this trade?
Well, all right, let's start with Sam Presti because the dude's pretty good at his job, guys. I got to tell you. Think about this. He sends Westbrook out, and that's a big contract. And I'm sure we'll get into that later on, but that's a big contract last year with 4 years left on that deal with Westbrook. He managed to bring in 2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. He brings Chris Paul and puts him in an environment where they become a playoff team this year and build Chris Paul's value back up and get a year out of the way on his contract, only 2 years left on the deal, and he brings in value for Chris Paul. So think about it. He took in 2 picks to take Paul, and then he's able to get 1 for trading him, plus 2 very marketable players. Ricky Rubio is the guy there's going to be multiple teams in demand for with 2 years left on his deal. He's the type of player that there's several contenders could use to get their hands on. He'd be a big help with the Clippers. He'd be a big help with the Milwaukee Bucks. These are teams that need a guy like Ricky Rubio. And Kelly Oubre is the 3D guy we all talk about, and he's pretty athletic, and he can guard people. And listen, so I think Preston did a fantastic job. I actually love it for the Suns, too. I think the Suns front office and Jeff Bauer and James Jones did a really good job here. Think about the bubble run that the Suns had, guys, right? They won 8 games in a row in the bubble, all right? What they were essentially able to do here. Now, Oubre didn't play in the bubble. So they took a guy that didn't play in the bubble, right, a future first, and they're upgrading Rubio. And by all objective measures, Chris Paul's and I love Rubio. Chris Paul's a huge upgrade from Rubio. And they get a big-time leader. And listen, Devin Booker's been getting antsy there. There's been a lot of buzz that Booker's ready to win sooner rather than later, and he wants to see this organization, this ownership group, make a commitment to that. Bringing Chris Paul in, it doesn't necessarily make them a championship contender, but I would not be surprised to see them end up somewhere in a 4 or 5 seed range. And for the Suns, from where they've been, that's a huge, big jump. And because they have some good young players, and Booker still is the best player on the team, they could go there, and they got a chance to stay there and maybe go higher. So this is one of those rare deals in the NBA I love for both sides.
Brian, why does it feel like Kelly Oubre is mentioned in every deal out there?
Well, first of all, he has a 1 year and $15 million left on his deal, Brett, and that's very attractive as trade capital right now. Much more attractive than the DeMar DeRozan deal, for example, 1 year and $28 million left. Oubre, you can kind of zig and zag with a guy like that. Plus, here's the other thing: as a 3D guy, there's a lot of teams out there that want him. And I think when you look at Phoenix's roster, Mikal Bridges is a guy that they want to give a lot of playing time to. And they really want him to have one of those forward spots. They drafted Cam Johnson last year. That's worked out pretty well for them. Obviously, they have Booker as a wing. So for them, it was almost that Oubre is an extraneous piece that had the ability to bring them back a big-time player with a larger salary. So that's why you saw his name thrown around a lot. I would say it says more about the fact of what the Suns have and less about the fact of Oubre's ability. I think Kelly Oubre is a pretty darn good player.
One other move today, I think it was made. I know it was being contemplated. The Lakers are going to get Dennis Schroeder, who I love him. And Danny Green is going to go to the Thunder. What do you think of that deal?
Yeah, I think the Lakers did a fantastic job there. By the way, that's Sam Presti getting another first-round pick.
Yeah, right.
He did a very good job there, too. Schroeder was the second-best player on the Thunder this year behind Chris Paul. He had a great year, very good clutch player, speed player, can play up-tempo with LeBron James. And I love the deal for the Lakers. It's a guy that really helps them a ton, a guy that, talk about the champions getting better and you have to improve and can't rest on your laurels. They were able to do that. But it also says one other thing. They didn't trade for Schroeder and they're thinking about bringing Rondo back. They realized pretty quickly that whatever they're going to have to give Rondo, he's going to have better offers elsewhere. And again, the Clippers have been a team. The Atlanta Hawks have a lot of cap space. And they could very well make Rondo a financial offer that he would just be stupid to turn down, even if he doesn't want to go play in Atlanta. So I think the Lakers knew they were up against that. And this is a market, guys, where if you don't want to get caught with a bad salary and you're going to go to be active in the trade market, the sooner you strike, the better. I think we're going to see a lot of deals. I really do, whether it's coming into the draft here or whether it's in free agency. But I think a lot of the deals are going to involve objectionable contracts. Schroeder's another one of those deals I talked about like Oubre. 1 year, about $16 million left on that deal, a very easy deal to move. And listen, I don't know that Danny Green plays the game for OKC. He very well may get moved out for a second before the season starts here in this offseason, or it's possible they buy him out. And he would be a very attractive guy out in the buyout market. So for whatever it is, for a guy that they weren't planning on keeping, Sam Presti brings in another one. And for the Lakers, this is a guy that's a really good fit. The other thing is this. He's 27 years old, and they're going to sign him as a future partner to Anthony Davis. He'll be there for the long haul, which is also what makes it a really good deal for L.A.
All right, Brian, one of these days we're going to get back to normal life. You're basically there in the New York area, New York City. Either, neither, or both within an hour's drive of your home. James Harden, Russell Westbrook. One could be a Knickerbocker, one could be a member of the Nets.
It's funny. Based on the news cycle today, Brad, you would think, oh, my God, Harden's going to end up on Brooklyn this week. I actually don't think that's going to happen. I think Houston's going to hold the line with him. I think eventually he may end up there, but I don't think he's going to end up there before the season starts. I think that everybody's running away from Tillman Fertitta, and I think this is the one guy that he does not want to let run away. I think you're going to see Westbrook on the Knicks between now and the time the season starts. I think that's going to happen. And that's really, for Houston, and think about what Houston's done here the last two off seasons. It was a big old sell low on Chris Paul last off season, and they're selling low on Westbrook now again. But by the same token, I think if you bring Westbrook back to this team, you're not going to be able to make any improvements. And I think financially, they got to free themselves up a little bit. And so even if it's Julius Randle that you bring back as a guy that can kind of play the system you want to play. He's not a wonderful three-point shooter, but he is a guy that plays well in the paint, and you go with him as almost an undersized type of 5 and live with the switching strategy. I don't think that's a bad thing for Houston. I think they have to flip the script a little bit, and they need more shooters there because Russell Westbrook's shooting really, really killed them. So I think you're going to see Westbrook go. And I think for the Knicks, it's a great deal. I think for the Knicks, they have the money to be able to spend it. As long as you don't have to trade picks for any of your really good young players, meaning you only have 2 of those, and Barrett and Robinson. As long as you have to trade any of them, you bring Russell Westbrook in and you win a few more games that you're planning on winning, but you teach these young guys how exactly that is done. I do think Harden will find his way to Brooklyn. I will tell you this. All the Harden to Philadelphia talk, Philadelphia does not have the kind of assets that Houston really is going to want. Their first-round picks are going to be late first-round picks. And the thing is about Brooklyn, Brooklyn's not going to do a Harden deal that's got 4 first-round picks in it. They've been there and done that. They did that with the Boston deal with Garnett and Pierce. And I can promise you it didn't work out well. They're not doing it again. But they do have some really good young players in LeVert and Allen and even Spencer Dinwiddie and those kinds of guys. And listen, LeVert's a guy that you could build a program around. I personally think Karis LeVert is that good. I do think that you'll see a Harden deal to Brooklyn at some point, but I think it's either going to be trade deadline or it's going to be next off season. I think Houston doesn't have a choice here. They're going to get the biggest fan revolt they've ever seen if you don't at least give this a run one more time around James Harden. So for this year, Westbrook's a guy that I think they have to get rid of. I really do. And I think Harden is going to hang around for a year. But when Harden and Westbrook both have made trade demands in the last week, they both understood this, that Westbrook was likely going to be the one that leaves first.
How cash-strapped is Fertitta, considering he is a restaurateur? That's where his money began. I know he's in the casino market. I think that's doing okay, although FanDuel, Sports Kings, those guys are probably going to hurt gaming in sports betting.
Hard to go broke in the casino business, but Trump managed to.
Well, I'm just curious if he's got to make moves for cash.
Well, listen, I know that he wasn't in great shape before the pandemic. He's a guy that uses a lot of leverage, to my understanding, in how he operates business. And, you end up in a situation where the restaurant business goes south, no fault of his. Listen, the casino business that he's in, and again, I don't know how much he's transitioned to online. I'm not that dove into what the Golden Nugget's doing with that. But I do know that a lot of the casino business he's been in the past actually relies on people going to casinos. And you're not getting a lot of that right now either.
No, you're not.
You're not. So he is hurting from that standpoint. He certainly is. And he's got, a lot of leverage to the point where, some of those local banks in that area almost have to loan him more money because that's the only chance they have of seeing their money back.
Too big to fail.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so I think Fertitta's got his issues that way. He's never been one that's wanted.
Man, I want to get too big to fail, Brian.
Yeah.
Well,
how many notes I got to sign to do that?
I already thought you were, Brad. I'm shocked to hear that you're that you're not.
No.
Hey.
No. They always want their cash from me. It's amazing.
Since you brought up Brooklyn, we haven't talked to you since Steve Nash became their head coach. And then Kyrie Irving said, well, we want him there because we're really going to coach the team. What is that thing going to be like?
I think it's going to be a lot more organized than people understand. You have to realize something about this choice of Steve Nash to coach the team. This was Kevin Durant's choice. And Brooklyn was very smart here. When you look at the place Kevin Durant came from, guys, think about this for a minute. He was the Finals MVP 2 years in a row. You could very credibly say that he was the best player in the league for both of those years.
Yes, superstar.
Yeah, you could.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
He was the fourth most important player in that franchise, guys. The fourth most important player in that franchise. And it came to a point where it was so understood at a rally, at a championship parade, they decided to rub his nose in it. So now you're Brooklyn Nets, and you're lucky enough to get him on board. Achilles injury and everything. If you want him to feel comfortable and you want him to feel happy and you want him to feel like this is his team, and when he felt like he had been disrespected by the organization, including Steve Kerr, by the way, So when you feel that way, and listen, Kerr was there with Curry and they all won before he got there, don't you want to make sure he's the one you're going to make happy? Listen, you can try to make Kyrie Irving happy. You're not going to make Kyrie Irving happy. If you go and hire Kyrie Irving's coach, and a month in you're having some struggles, Kyrie's going to say, you shouldn't have listened to me. That's going to be his answer to you. All right? And so for Kyrie, there's no making him happy. But with Kevin Durant here, you wanted a guy that he was going to endorse. You wanted a guy that he had skin in the game with. And this was his guy. This was who he wanted. So they went and they got Steve Nash. Jacques Vaughn stays on board. Now they go ahead and they get Mike D'Antoni and Ime Udoka. So they have a great staff around Nash. Nash is going to listen to guys. He's going to be collaborative. Nash is that kind of guy. But in the end, it'll be his voice. That's the voice that's heard. Now, listen, what Durant tells him privately and what they decide, who the hell knows? But you know you're getting buy-in from your number one lead player here in Kevin Durant. And to me, whoever Brooklyn chose, that was the most important criteria. So I think from that standpoint, they made the right choice for their organization at this time.
Brian, you can tell by the passion in your voice. Anytime we have you on, during good times or not, you can tell it in your voice, and I think you can feel that from all of us here, that we love this stuff. We've never taken it for granted. But the first time you come through that Penn Station, that you go up those steps at Penn Station, and you get back to go to a game against the Knicks, or you drive to Brooklyn and you see the Nets, do you feel like you want to get down on all fours and kiss the floor?
Yeah, there's going to be, you know what? You want to know what I'm going to do, Brett, when I walk? And it's funny because I'm feeling it this week maybe more than any other, because I've regularly, for the last 5 years, covered the draft live in Brooklyn.
Sure.
I've been there for NBA radio, and that's part of what my role is, and I've interviewed kids at the happiest moment of their lives. And it's really, it sounds a little hokey, but it's a special night. It's, it's not only about kids, it's about their families. And so you spend some time talking to them. And maybe that night, above any other, a lot of these kids are more open than they would be any other time. And I love being there. It hurts a little this week not to have that out in front of us. So next time I walk into, whether it's the Barclays Center, Madison Square Garden, or I like to go to Philly on a semi-regular basis also, it's about an hour and a half down the turnpike from me. So any of those buildings that I walk into, I'm going to take it in a little bit. I'm going to look around, take a few deep breaths, and realize where we are now, where we've come from, where we're going, and understand that none of this is to ever be taken for granted. You guys too, we're all very lucky to do what we do here professionally. And listen, this has been a very, very tough time in our country, an awful thing for many, many people. And the truth of the matter is we can get a lot of this stuff in the rearview mirror and end up being some of the survivors here. I think from that standpoint, we owe it to ourselves and owe it to everybody around us to have the requisite level of appreciation for that.
I'm with you. I can't wait to get back to normalcy. Go Pfizer, go Moderna, go Johnson & Johnson. We're all cheering for them as hard as we possibly can. Before we let you go, there is a draft in 2 nights. How will that order go? Who's first, who's second, who's third?
It's interesting. I've been hearing a lot of LaMelo Ball at number 1. And now what you're starting to get is that maybe it's Anthony Edwards. I know Minnesota's made some efforts to trade this pick and just haven't got offers that they thought were anywhere close to the kind of offers that they want. And next year's draft is supposed to be stacked. So you're looking right now what Minnesota would love to do. We trade out of that number 1 pick and collect something for next year, because their pick next year, unless it's the top 3, is going to Golden State as part of the D'Angelo Russell deal. So for Minnesota, they would like to trade out of that 1 spot, and there's teams that would jump into that 1 spot for LaMelo Ball. If Minnesota holds it, it looks likely to be Anthony Edwards. And although Edwards is an NBA athlete with an NBA type of body, and the kid's been through a lot in his life, the shot selection's an issue, the motor's an issue, and these are things you worry about when you're taking a guy at number 1. I look at the Warriors at 2 and figure James Wiseman's going to be their pick there for everything.
Good pick.
It's a smart pick. It's the right pick, guys. For the Golden State Warriors, what they can do here, and everybody's talking about trade the pick. For the Warriors, what you can essentially do is go take James Wiseman, and he's the context is great to be able to go there and play with Curry and Clay and Draymond and kind of grow and take your time and learn from the best. And then at a certain point in time, 3-4 years, Curry and Clay are going to be pretty much done, and Draymond's going to be close to being done. And you build that bridge to James Wiseman as the next star of your organization, who's been, tutored by the right guy. So to me, that's the perfect pick there. And then we'll see what happens with Charlotte at 3. I feel like with Charlotte at 3, there's potential for LaMelo Ball to drop a little bit in this draft, because I don't think Charlotte takes him at 3. I think Okongwu is going to be the guy they take there. They like him a lot, and I don't blame them. He's a very, very switchable big and can guard guys on the perimeter, so I like that. And then at 4, I actually think the Bulls are going to take the kid from Israel, Denny Avdia. And so if you have that, all of a sudden the Cavs are going to be staring at LaMelo Ball at 5, who wants to be a lead ball handler, and their last 2 firsts have been Garland and Colin Sexton. So what are they going to do? So then you're looking at 6 or maybe 7 with 6 with Atlanta or 7 with Detroit. LaMelo Ball could be the guy that ends up falling in this draft. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. But I think it's good. The thing about this draft, not very top heavy, but there's a sweet spot in this draft, guys, from about 18 to 24. Milwaukee picks in there, Philadelphia picks in there, Dallas picks in there, Brooklyn picks in there. And you know what? There's some very good players that are going to be there. Cole Anthony's one of them. There's going to be some very good players. Jaden Smith's another one. There's going to be some really good guys that go down there in that area. It's going to be very interesting to watch and how this draft shakes out. But understand, this draft is deep. It's just not top heavy.
You did not mention the one guy that I think is, like Wiseman, a definite guy that will play in the NBA for 10 years, and that's top heavy.
Precious Achiuwa.
No,
right?
no, Precious Achiuwa. I hope he does. I really do.
I think he will. I like Precious.
He
I'm sorry,
can
who's
run
the guy you said, Dave?
Obi Toppin.
You know what? The thing about Obi Toppin is this. First of all, very few guys you'll see that will be able to step into the NBA and be big-time offensive players day one. Obi Toppin's going to be able to be there. He's Amari Stoudemire with a 3. He's going to be really good. The thing about Obi Toppin that teams are taking pause with is that he's also Amari Stoudemire on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah.
He's an upright defender. And so you can easily switch him into pick and roll and take advantage of him. But I have heard that if Obi Toppin hangs around in this draft, the Knicks would love to have him at 8. If he drops to 8, he's not dropping deeper than that. The Knicks are certainly going to grab him. But it's possible Detroit takes him at 7. If I'm Atlanta at 6 and he's sitting there, I know I have John Collins, but I would have a hard time passing on him. And so, yeah, it's going to be very interesting what happens with him. But I've heard as high as 4 with him. But I've also heard, he could for a while he could go 10 or 11. But then what I'm hearing about New York's really high on him. If he's sitting there at 8, that's the Knicks' top choice to grab. And listen, the thing with Toppin, he should never drop this far in this draft. He's almost 23 years old, and that's the problem, and it shouldn't be a problem. Somewhere along the line, with the way analytics have gotten involved in draft analysis and numbers have gotten involved, there's this whole confirmation bias that younger players are better to take because younger players turn into stars. When younger guys are drafted, they generally are drafted because they have more potential. To hold a guy's age against them, and some guys are later bloomers, to me makes zero sense, especially when you're going to start to pay guys money, and they can, if you want to pay guys money that can contribute immediately to your team. You don't want it to be a situation, you have to make financial decisions on these guys 3 years in. If you got to work with a guy in a player development program for 2 years to even be good enough to be in your rotation, you have 1 year to evaluate and you should give him a second contract. That's a hard circumstance. To me, that would make a kid like Toppin more attractive. In today's NBA, it makes him less attractive. Whoever does grab him is getting a heck of a player.
I agree, and you're right. When you're 23 or 24 and you're old, woo. We are youth-oriented, that is for sure. Brian Geltzeiler, you are terrific. We love having you on. We'll do it again soon.
Always my pleasure, guys. Take care. Look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
That is good stuff from Brian Geltzeiler. Again, you can read him, hoopscritics.com. He's brought to you in part by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, of course, Genesis of Olive Branch. I've been telling you the new SUV is coming this week, the Genesis SUV. Can't wait to see it. I'll be telling you more and more about that. You know they're bringing in all the 2021s, so they got a deal right now on 2020 Genesis G70s. They got a couple where you can get a great price and 0% financing for 72 months. Yes, you can afford a Genesis, and you can afford this G70, the highest performing car I have ever had, I promise. And look, this technology is durable. You get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty with every car, and it's durable because everybody takes care of them. In fact, every new Hyundai, every new Genesis is taken care of by Homer Skelton, because every new car gets a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. And then they become certified pre-owned, #1 program in the country, #1 selling in Memphis for 13 years. Go see what I'm talking about. Get on Lamar into Mississippi, turn left at the very first exit, Craft Road. You'll see why they've set the bar so high, why this is the way car business should be done. You'll see it if you go to Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We take the break, and when we come back, we'll make our Monday Night Football picks, and we will also give you our Mount Rushmores for the Bears running backs and the Minnesota Viking quarterbacks. That comes your way in just a minute.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Looking for some action? Sports gambling is legal in Tennessee. Action247.com. Local, legal. A sportsbook by Tennesseans, for Tennesseans. Go to Action247.com. Register and place your bets. Are you a sharp or a first-time bettor? Action 24/7 has you covered. Visit us online at Action247.com. Local, legal. Action 24/7. You got action.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Don't miss Lowe's Provember event, because this month we're saying thanks to our pros in a big way. We have deals on go-to brands like DeWalt, Spyder, and Metabo HPT. During Provember, now through November 25th, you can buy one DeWalt 20-volt Max XR Power Detect tool and get one Bear tool free. We also have credit options to help keep your business moving. Shop in store or at lowesforpros.com/Provember. Lowe's, the new home for pros. Offer valid 10/29 through 11/25. See store for details while supplies last. U.S. only.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between, in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Ugh, my stomach.
Don't worry, I've got you covered.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
What's that?
It's Pepto-Bismol Chews.
Pepto-Bismol's in a chew?
Yeah, they taste great and provide fast relief. And you can always have Pepto-Bismol handy.
Ooh, let me try it.
Try Pepto-Bismol Chews for fast relief.
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Dun, 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 dun. Monday Night Football tonight. Right here on Sports 56, 98.5, 96.1. It's the Bears, the monsters of the Midway. Underdogs at home by 2.5 to the Minnesota Vikings. If Dalvin Cook is not 100%, the Vikings have no chance in any game. If the Bears slow him down, the Vikings have no chance in this game. We have to make our football picks. I know so far I was 3-2 in football, in college football, and lost by 0.5 point the BC Notre Dame game, and lost by
3-2 in pros.
3-2 in pros. So I'm 6-4.
And lost by 0.5 point on the Buffalo Bills.
I did by 0.5.
What a heartbreaking story.
2.5 point.
Isn't that sad?
I can tell Drew's smiling. He does not seem to be at all disturbed.
For the year, you are now 59-62, but you have 8 points because once again in college, straight up with your shocker with
Marshall,
the U with
Miami,
with Miami over Virginia Tech, and I am 59-62, but I trail you by 6 points, 8-2 on points. Drew's 53-68. He was 5-5 this week. He's down 9 points tonight. The Vikings, 2.5.
What are you coming in here? If I'm 6-4, he's 5-5. What are you?
I was 5-5.
Okay, you failed to mention. I was just trying to keep up.
I'm sorry.
What was
5-5,
Bruce? What was Bruce, by the
59-62.
way? I couldn't remember.
Bruce had a tough weekend. 1-0 in the pros, 2-5 in college. got there with the Giants yesterday and had some of those half-point blues in college football on Saturday. 2.5 Minnesota tonight over Chicago at Soldier Field. I'm taking the Vikings. Drew?
Of course you are. Are they your Vikings?
No.
Oh.
I'm with you, Brett. I'm going to take the Vikings as well. They've looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. Alvin Cook's hitting his stride. And no offense, Dave, but there's nobody playing up front for the Bears on the offensive side of the ball.
That is true. If
the Vikings get any bit of pressure, it's over.
There are, in the last game, 4 of the Bears' starting offensive linemen to begin the year were not playing. I think they're getting 1 or 2 back this week.
Mitch Foles all alone, all by himself.
But there's the Bear defense, and there's Kirk Cousins, and the Bears defense could score some points.
So you think you have a chance with Kirk Cousins on the other side, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I do.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good math.
Who
you take?
I'm just telling you. I am definitely going with the Bears. It's at home. This is Soldier Field. Are you kidding me?
So bear down for the Bears. Nobody there, but Soldier Field, yeah.
I'm a lone wolf here. I'm going to take my shot.
That grass. All right, Dave, you start with the Bears running backs, and then we'll do ours, and then Vikings quarterbacks.
All right, I'm going to start from the bottom up. The Bears have a lot of great running backs that don't even make the list at all, like Matt Forte, who really had a great career in Chicago, or even a guy, this will be a little before your time, but when I was a kid, Rick Caceres was a really
Florida Gator.
He was a big fullbacky kind of a guy. Yeah.
I met him down at the Swamp a few years ago.
Did you really? You met Rick Caceres? Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's cool. I'm glad he's still alive. That's good.
It's always good to be alive.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
My number 4 guy is the Galloping Ghost. I'm not talking about Galloping Gale carrying the mail. I'm talking about the Galloping Ghost. Played at the University of Illinois. George Halas gobbled him up in the 20s. And he actually helped to make the NFL a viable professional football league. Red Grange won 2 titles.
That's good. That's good. I did not have him on here, but I'm glad you did.
Yep. So Red Grange, I have Bronco Nagurski, who was a fullback.
I have Bronk.
Bronk was as big as the offensive lineman of his day. He won 3 titles with the Bears in the 30s and the 40s. And then to pick 1 and 2 is, my goodness, which do you like better? Like Haagen-Dazs rum raisin or Brian Vanilla? I mean, this is hard. I guess I'm going to go through to Walter Payton. Do you realize Walter Payton never had a year, except for the strike year, less than 1,200 yards in a single year? And of course,
I think he threw more touchdown passes in the NFL than Johnny Manziel did.
He might have. Walter Payton was sweetness. He was great, but my guy, and it's probably because I grew up watching him and got to know him. And
it's your list.
And he was the prettiest running back I've ever seen on any football field. He was so elusive and so graceful and so fast. You couldn't touch him. Gale Sayers. Gale Sayers is my number 1 running back.
Dave, you saw 3 of the 4, 2 up close during your childhood. Number 4 for me, his number's retired. His career abbreviated way too much. Willie Gallimore.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, Bronco Nagurski. Number 2, Gale Sayers. It was just because of the shortness of time. Number 1, when he retired, all-time leading rusher. Number 34 from Columbia, Mississippi, and Jackson State, Walter Payton. Drew?
I forgot about Willie Gallimore, too. You're right. Look at the Bears had unbelievable running backs. Go ahead, Drew.
I have 3 of the same. Number 4, though, I went with more of a modern-day guy, second leading rusher in Bears history, Matt Forte. So I thought he deserved at least some mention and a spot on this list.
Neil Anderson was a great Bear running back.
Oh, he was.
After Walter Payton had to fill those shoes.
Yeah, he did a good job.
3 do have Red Grange. 2, I went with Gale Sayers, and number 1, Walter Payton.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed I didn't have Red Grange on my list, but I don't know who I knock out. But good list. All right, Vikings quarterbacks. I think we all know who number 1 is.
Fran Tarkenton. No. If anybody doesn't have him there, he was the prototype to guys like your guy now. I mean, seriously, Fran Tarkenton was the original scrambler. You could not. He didn't really scramble to run unless it was for a first down.
But he was good from the pocket.
He was great from the pocket, but you couldn't if the offensive line broke down and like the Rams' fearsome foursome were coming down upon him. He'd get away.
Yeah.
He'd get away and throw.
He could.
You know that he
had eyes in the back of his head.
He has 339 career touchdowns. That's the most of any Viking by more than 80. So he's number one.
And had two tours of duty. They dumbly traded him to the Giants, and then they got him back. Number 2 for me, Dante Culpepper. Number 3, Tommy Kramer from Rice. And number 4, it wasn't many years there, but he was really good. I was torn between two guys with not many years there, but both real good. I went with the Hall of Famer Warren Moon over Randall Cunningham.
Wow. I don't have either of those because I don't think of either of those guys in a Minnesota uniform. I'm in agreement with you on 2 and 3, but I have them reversed. You know, Tommy Kramer had 25,000 yards and 159 touchdowns.
And he came behind Tarkenton.
And he did a heck of a job. Then I got Culpepper, and Culpepper would have been 2, but Culpepper kept getting injured. And here's the other thing about Culpepper that bothered me, and I loved it when I was a Bear fan. He'd always cough it up. He had 81 fumbles. I think that leads the NFL for quarterback fumbles.
He was
and
a
then
turnover machine.
4 for me is an old guy. He is the epitome of what an ugly quarterback looks like, but somehow comes through. And that is Joe Cap. He was a tough guy.
I love it. Joe Cap had really one great year in Minnesota.
He
got him to a Super Bowl.
He got him to a Super Bowl. He was great. I loved him.
Yeah.
I'll say
Drew?
this time, copy and paste Brett's list. Exactly. 1 through 4.
Well,
and I saw Tommy Kramer at Rice, and I mean was the only thing they had on offense. He was running for his life. Boy, Rice was bad.
They were. They still are. Well, actually, I think they were a little bit better this year than they had been, but this is a crazy year, so that all kind of figures. So those are pretty good quarterbacks there. I mean, you think about it, even the guys they brought in later in their career, that's a very impressive list for the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. And Cunningham, both of them.
Wade Wilson was very adequate to good for them.
Yeah, no, terrific stuff. And those are the Mount Rushmores of Monday Night Football, the Bears and the Vikings. And again, I have picked the Bears. You guys both have gone with the Minnesota Vikings. Game's in Chicago. Are you aware that it's in Chicago? Just wanted to be sure. Drew, you sure? You know that is?
I know where it's at.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's critical in making picks to know where the game's being played.
I just hope you knew that because they play inside in Minnesota now. They're no longer
Dave, we're going to be
like
here
they
for
used
you.
to be. Oh, you will be. Okay.
Man, they were tough. When Bud Grant wouldn't even let him go out there with a coat on.
Well, he didn't. He wore a little suit coat. I mean, he wasn't wearing anything heavy. He was tough. You know, I think
they did the cold when they played at the Met.
I believe Bud Grant is still alive. He's in his 90s, isn't he?
He is. He used to come over here and hunt with a player of his that was from this area until just a few years ago, and they said even on a cold morning that he didn't require a lot of layers out here duck hunting. Man, what a tough guy.
What was that old Metropolitan Stadium? Was that what it was?
At the Met, yeah.
You had to be tough.
That's where Mall of America sits now.
That's right. And let me tell you something. That was all concrete. I mean, that was a outside refrigerator, and they played
and both teams on the same sideline.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah. You know, they used to do that in Cleveland too. They had both.
Did it in Detroit for a while.
I don't remember it in Detroit, but I remember it in Cleveland and in
Can
Minnesota.
you imagine that now? It would be some Donnie Brooks, wouldn't it?
Oh, I know. No, it would be. In Chicago, they always had the Bears in right field at Wrigley Field. The Bears would put up temporary stands right in front of the wall, and the visitors would always be on that side, and the Bears were on the home side because in those days, you know, the Like even the Cubs, they would have to walk down the left field line and go into where the locker room was, and that's how the Bears would come out of that same place. So there was no connection with the dugouts, although there was actually on the other side for the visitors, and that's where the opposite the visiting football team would come in. Anyway, I don't think anybody cares about that. Just a little walk down memory lane. We need to take a timeout. When we come back, it'll be crunch time. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team. Matt and his team of pros. Well, they got a unique way of doing things. It's really getting to know you so they can protect you. They will find for auto or home insurance, they will find 10 leading companies and find the right one that fits you, your needs, your budget. Same thing for commercial insurance. They do both personal and business. They have virtually unlimited access to programs to protect small to mid-sized businesses. That is what they are known for. And then if there's life insurance, can't forget that, how important life insurance is. Eflin's got you covered there too with quotes from 15 well-respected companies. Again, they will find the perfect one that fits your needs and your budget. In fact, Grant, Andrew, and Heath are all ready to help you out. You get a free quote today. Just call 386-GER. That's 901-386-4777. That's GER because they love the Tigers. That's the Eflin Insurance Group protecting you personally. We take the quick timeout, and when we come back, it'll be Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
I'm so sick.
Ooh, honey.
Seriously? I'm sick.
Oh, honey, it's time for DayQuil Severe Honey. It's maximum strength cold and flu medicine with soothing, honeylicious taste.
I love you, honey.
And I love you.
I meant the DayQuil.
New DayQuil Severe Honey. The soothing, honeylicious daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, power through your day medicine. Use as directed.
Water damage to your home or business can be an absolute nightmare. And the faster you remove the standing water, the faster you can prevent secondary damage. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services specializes in water extraction. They have been a trusted name in the Mid-South for over 20 years. They are a Memphis-based company ready to serve your needs with their 24-hour emergency response. They are always on call and will respond within an hour. They work with most insurance companies and are the official restoration contractor of the Memphis Tigers home team. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services can't prevent disasters in your home and at your business, but their water damage team will certainly respond quickly to minimize and restore the damage. Call 901-452-0390. That's 901-452-0390 or online at landmarkco.org.
Buy your next car or truck at Streamline Auto Smart. Your next smart decision. All credit welcome. Drive off in your new, low-mileage, pre-owned car or truck. From low-end cars to the most luxurious sports car. Ask about the 48-hour vehicle locator. Let Streamline Auto Smart do the looking for you. Close your deal within 1 hour. No waiting. It's quick and easy at Streamline Auto Smart. Your next smart decision. 2558 Mount Moriah. Call Streamline Auto Smart 901-235-8845. Your next smart decision.
Spend the holidays at home this year with a little help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure has so many spas in stock and hundreds more on order. Now's your time to really save big. Huge savings on pool tables, game tables, arcades, massage chairs, and a whole lot more. Buy a pool now and save the 2021 price increase. Plus, you'll get early installation scheduling. The holidays at home sale happening now at Family Leisure, Whidden Road at I-40, where family and fun come together for the holidays.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Volosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. Too easy with the deal, we get in fame.
Welcome back in. Final segment of our Monday show. It's been a fast-moving show, that is for certain. And it's been brought to you in part by the Spirit Shop. I always love bragging about the Spirit Shop because these are the folks that really know how to educate you about the great spirits that we have. Whether it is a bargain, it depends on your budget, or it could be rare. You know, he's got some Pappy Van Winkle, gets a bottle or two per year. Eddie Connor, he understands the business. He knows all about each spirit, about how they're made, about what makes them good, about why they might be rare, and he loves to educate you. He and his family, they've been working this thing since 1969. It's a great place to go if you're looking for wine that maybe you can't find anywhere. He'll go the extra mile. He'll call a winery, and if it's legal to bring it in, he'll do it. I promise you. If you're looking for that up-and-coming thing, maybe a great new wine that's going to be very expensive in a few years, you get the bargain price right now. I'm telling you, he's fun to chat with. And it's so beautifully located right in East Memphis. Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar Avenue, accessories, you name it, even the stuff that you might rim a glass with. He's got everything. If it's spirit, it's the Spirit Shop. All you got to do is get there. Again, that little log cabin right down from Clark Tower. That's Poplar and St. Nick. Restock up. I know this was a good weekend at the Spirit Shop. It is now officially crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
Boop! Choo!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time. Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
On one, on two, on three, hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
Dave, I learned today the Steelers are now 9-0. 72 Dolphins shouldn't be in jeopardy, but what a way for Big Ben to potentially ride out this year. If they win it all, he probably should retire. Home field against Kansas City will be big, but not as big fanless.
No, I agree. Maybe those 72 Dolphins had better start to get just a little bit concerned, although there's not too many left, and it was just Don Shula who left us a little bit earlier this year, wasn't it? Yeah. I learned today that Major League Baseball at the end of the week is going to come out with what they're going to do with the minor leagues. It apparently is going to be a grouping of 140 teams that will be granted the Major League brand license, okay? So they're going to be involved with 140 teams, and that'll be it. And so we'll see who makes the cut and who doesn't make the cut. I'm pretty certain, especially since Peter Freund is on the committee restructuring minor league baseball, that Memphis and AutoZone Park will be in the mix. But we should know
I sure hope so.
what the new Major League Baseball deal with the minor leagues is going to be about by the end of this week.
I could have done without this. The U really may be back. Are we braced for that? Big win over Virginia Tech, and Manny Diaz has at least stabilized things at Miami. I do know that Rhett Lashley will be a prominent name in some of the coaching searches this offseason. He could be the next head coach at Vandy if they make a change. We'll see. Or maybe Hugh Freeze's successor at Liberty. Who knows? I think Rhett Lashley comes out of the coaching carousel pretty well this year.
What does it take for Miami to really be all the way back? They are 6-1. We shall 7-1.
By their standard, I think that's win a national championship.
Okay. I'm not sure they're back
by their
all the way
lofty
yet.
standard.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see.
That's why we play a whole season. I guess I could have done without the story that Porzingis will miss the start of the regular season. You know, Dallas really was starting to be a good team. Now we see Phoenix is going to be better. I'm telling you, it is going to be so difficult for the Grizzlies to make the playoffs next year. They could be a better team and have a worse record without any question in my mind. Because Dallas is really good. When you put Porzingis...
Who are they going to pass?
I don't know.
Who are the Grizzlies going to get past? I mean, maybe San Antonio. Maybe I don't know. Keeping a close eye on Monday Night Football. We'll see if Dave's Bears can win the game and cover the point spread. Kirk Cousins versus Mitch Foles. Boy, that's a quarterback duo right there, isn't it? And also NBA draft talk, South Carolina coaching rumors. And look, Will Muschamp. Lane Kiffin didn't get him fired. Matt Corral didn't get him fired. Will Muschamp got himself fired. If you can't win at Florida, how are you going to win at South Carolina?
Well, that's not his fault. He didn't hire himself. Blame South Carolina for
that. That's true. That's true.
I mean, yeah, I'm obviously going to look closely at the Bears. If the Bears win this game, honestly, they're going to make the playoffs. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. And one story.
We will have a bet on something.
One serious story here. Well, you said they're going to finish worse than the Lions. I'm willing to bet you on that. You
only a game ahead.
That's all.
Only a game ahead of my Lions.
That's all it takes. And they got the tiebreak at this moment. They'll play each other too. So one
my
more
Lions.
Time. Your Lions. Your Lions, which got lucky to win yesterday with that field goal, but they did win.
They sure did.
One sad story we did not mention, and thoughts and prayers with the UT Martin family. Their basketball coach, about to start his 5th season, Anthony Stewart,
years old,
passed away at the age of 50. What a sad, sad story.
Very sad.
That one is. Condolences to all in the UT Martin family. We want to thank Ted Butler. Last time we talked to him until next April. Same thing for John Go and David Cobb. Of course, you'll hear from him next Monday. We thank him for his participation today. And Brian Geltzeiler, I really enjoy getting that guy's insight. He is terrific. Tomorrow we'll be busy. Gabe Kuhn, Talking Tigers, Brent Beard, Jeff Moore, Bo Marchant, and Ron Tillery. We will see you then. Don't forget Monday Night Football coming your way in a little bit here on 56, 98.5, and 96.1. We do it again tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.